odd fillets because Judge Nathaniel Gorton of the First Circuit got it right. He's from this area. His brother was a Republican senator from Washington State, I believe, and I'm pretty sure that's why he got the job during the Bush administration, during the first Bush administration. He's been around for a long time. The same day the Ninth Circuit said that terrorists had every right to come into the country despite the law of the land, Judge Nathaniel Gorton here in Boston on the First Circuit Court of Appeals got it exactly right. I mean, I don't want to give him too many props for doing this. I mean, he read the law. I mean, it's not like we asked him to go above and beyond the call of duty. We asked him to study the statute and rule on what the statute said, but he did that. And after 8 years of Obama and the lawlessness, third world banana republic regime of Obama and his ilk, I mean, I guess it is asking a lot. So thank you, Judge Gorton. You've been proven correct, and so now they're gonna. It's again. I'll go over the whole thing. We can talk about this for a while. It's a big thing. Implementation details coming soon on the travel ban that Homeland Security is going to put into effect. I'll read you the story here from the New York Times. And again, I know it's fake news to a degree, but in this case, the story is pretty decent. The Supreme Court announced today that it will decide whether President Trump's revised travel ban is lawful, setting the stage for a major decision on the scope of presidential power. But it looks like it's going through. Mr. Trump's revised executive order issued in March limited travel from six mostly Muslim countries for 90 days and suspended the nation's refugee program for 120 days. There's a lot of good news coming out in these days, and one of the good news headlines, one of the feel-good headlines over the weekend is refugee applications down 50%. So that means 50% fewer terrorists, in all likelihood, are coming into the country. 50% fewer Sarnievs are coming into the country. The administration had asked that the lower court ruling, the Fourth and Ninth Circuit Court, be stayed until the case moved forward. The court granted part of that request in its unsigned opinion. The jurors, in effect, said that foreigners with ties or relationships in the United States would not be prohibited from entering the country, but those applying for visas who had never been here, who had no family, business, or other ties could be prohibited. So the key phrases here are foreign nationals who have a quote-unquote credible claim of a quote-unquote bona fide relationship with a person or entity in the United States. And Justice Clarence Thomas, joined by Alito and Gorsuch, he dissented in that regard for the obvious reason. And the reason I read you credible claim and bona fide relationship is that sets the stage for litigation. The same pro bono types that will be fighting to get al-Baghdadi into the country. He has a bona fide. He was in jail. We had him in prison. We had him in prison in Baghdad for a while. So obviously he has a relationship, bona fide relationship with the United States. He needs to come into the country, and he needs to bring his suicide bombs in too.
Here he's going to get a job with a local nonprofit.
Right. He wants to set up a halal market.
He's going to be an expert on Islamophobia with the Southern Poverty Law Center.
Right. This is what's going to. I mean, Clarence Thomas is absolutely right, and and the fact that Gorsuch joined him in this is a good sign too. So here's what Justice Thomas said. I fear that the court's remedy will prove unworkable. Today's compromise will burden executive officials with the task of deciding on peril of contempt whether individuals from the 6 affected nations who wish to enter the United States have a significant connection to a person or entity in this country. He continues. The compromise will also invite a flood of litigation until this case is finally resolved on the merits, as parties in court struggle to determine what exactly constitutes a bona fide relationship. These words just jump out. After you've read a lot of these court decisions, these phrases just jump out at you. Bona fide relationship. Who precisely has a credible claim to that relationship and whether the claimed relationship was formed simply to avoid the executive order, Justice Thomas wrote, quoting from the majority opinion. But you know what? It's better than nothing. If Hillary Clinton were president of the United States, they would be flooding into this country. You know? They would be bringing in IEDs. You know that. They would be, issuing them pressure cookers as they went through customs. I'm just kidding, but you know what I'm talking about.
Speaking of which, has Merrick Garland been reached for comment?
Merrick Garland.
And what about Sally Yates?
Sally Yates. I'm going to quit the administration. I refuse to. And she didn't say that. She said, no, she didn't say I'm going to quit. They never say I'm going to quit. I refuse to enforce that because it's unconstitutional. You're such a mean person not letting terrorists come into the country. Y'all. Because she has a Southern accent. You know?
Was that supposed to be a Southern accent? It
was
a little more English. It was high English.
I was doing Julia Childs for a while, and then I remembered she had a Southern accent, so I pivoted. I pivoted quickly at the end. That's why I am the man of 1,000 voices, because I can make these changes on a dime. So, or on a dinar, as al-Baghdadi would say. So anyway, so there are a lot of losers here in this case, and we'll go over. But what do you think? Are you happy about this? I mean, this is good. This is really good. We'll get into the losers here in just a moment if you want to talk about this. 844-500-4242, 844-500-4242. I'm Howie Carr.
The Howie Carr Show.
What the Yes on One campaign represents is people coming together and fighting back against the politicians that have failed them. Now I'm calling on the people to unite and take on an even greater fight. We have a senior senator that seems to be more interested in promoting herself than working for the people of Massachusetts. And if I decide to make this run for the United States Senate, I promise you this. You'll have somebody who will work every day, will not write a book, will be doing everything I can to make sure that I represent your interests. I listen to you. I take that down to Washington, D.C., and I don't crumble when Republicans or Democrats put pressure on me, because I haven't done it on Beacon Hill, and I promise I won't do it in Washington, D.C.
Professionals are on the web at MatthewsBrothers.com. Matthews Brothers with one T, America's oldest window manufacturer.
Hey, this is Steve from the Howie Carr Show. Tired of bland, weak coffee? Then you need 5-0 Coffee. 5-0 Coffee was developed by a team of Massachusetts police officers. Grace calls me a coffee snob, and she's right. I love great-tasting coffee. That's why I drink 5-0 Coffee. The first thing I do when I get to the studio every morning is brew up a piping hot pot of 5-0 Coffee. 5-0 Coffee is great coffee for a good cause. A portion of their monthly proceeds benefits law enforcement causes such as the Officer Down Memorial Program and Cops for Kids with Cancer. Buy great coffee and support the men in blue. To order, go to 50coffee.com. That's 50coffee.com.
Listen up, New England. A brand new state-of-the-art shooting range, training center, and pro shop just opened on Cape Cod and Hyannis, called Cape Gun Works. They have 15 shooting lanes rated for rifle and pistol, a large function room, training simulator, and a huge pro shop with many new and used guns for sale or trade. Their range accepts walk-ins, or you can join as a member. Cape Gun Works in Hyannis. Call 508-771-3600.
We could play another commercial, or we could just play 60 seconds of Donald Trump. Yeah, let's do that.
I say, hey, wait a minute. He didn't leave the country. He wasn't out of the country. Then Michael Cohen of the Trump Organization was in Prague. It turned out to be a different Michael Cohen. Sure. It's a disgrace what took place. It's a disgrace. And I think they ought to apologize to start with Michael Cohen.
Sir, since you're attacking us, can you give us a question? Mr. President-elect. Mr. President-elect, since you are attacking our news organization, can you give us a chance?
Your organization.
You are attacking our news organization. Can you give us a chance to ask a question, sir?
Go ahead.
Sir, can you state, Mr. President-elect, can you state categorically, Mr. President-elect, can you give us a question? You're attacking us. Can you give us a question?
Don't be rude.
Can you give us a question?
I'm not going to give you a question.
Can you state categorically?
You are fake news.
Sir,
go ahead.
Can you state categorically? correctly that nobody... No, Mr. President-elect, that's not appropriate.
This is the Howie Carr Show.
Hi, this is Andrea from Ever So Humble Pie Company in East Walpole. Well, it's that time of year when comfort food is king. And now, in addition to our delectable dessert pies, we're offering home-style classics like chicken pot pie, shepherd's pie, and Canadian meat pie. Simply turn on your oven and you'll have a wholesome, hearty meal. Pick up a fruit pie while you're here, and you've got dinner and dessert from Ever So Humble Pie Company. For more information, call us at 508-660-9731 or visit us at eversohumble.com. That's eversohumble.com.
It's here, Howie Carr's latest book, Kennedy Babylon, A Century of Depravity and Scandal. Kennedy Babylon is a whirlwind tour of scandals from the days of the Kennedy clan's rabidly anti-Semitic patriarch to the death of JFK Jr. Ann Coulter says Howie Carr is making Kennedy books great again. You'll love the never-before-seen images of the Kennedy family in Howie Carr's latest book, Kennedy Babylon, A Century of Depravity and Scandal. Now shipping. Order today at HowieCarrShow.com. Click Kennedy Babylon.
If your home has hard water, then it's likely that limescale is clogging your pipes, damaging your appliances, costing you hundreds of dollars each year. You can eliminate limescale in the entire house with HydroCare products available at Wave Home Solutions. Easy and efficient with no maintenance, no salts, no chemicals, and no coils. And you can buy with confidence from Wave Home Solutions. Performance guaranteed. Just go to bestwater411.com. That's bestwater411.com.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
Have you seen Howie's latest t-shirts and sweatshirts? Grab one now at HowieCarrShow.com. This is the Howie Carr Show.
Today's poll question is brought to you by Casper. Get a Casper mattress and sleep cool and comfortable every night. It's a higher quality mattress at a more affordable price. Test it yourself for 100 nights, risk-free. Use code Howie at Casper.com for $50 towards the purchase of your mattress. Terms and conditions apply. Now, as you know, they've decided, the Trump administration, that a lot of these daily press briefings are only going to be audio. So the serious reporters, if however many there are in the White House press corps, can get the answers to the questions about, say, the White House, the Muslim travel ban today. They can get the response of the administration or the Senate healthcare replacement package. They can talk to Sean Spicer. He's there at the podium, but that they can't be baiting and preening for the TV cameras like they usually do. So, of course, very fake news. CNN is going nuts here today. And finally, Jim Acosta, who was last week or week and a half ago, was sending out fake tweets about Scalise and the president. He's screaming and yelling, and finally Sean Spicer just said, "Hey, chill out. You know, you're getting the answers to the question. You just can't, be on TV jumping up and down like normal. And this, Jim, this isn't going to stop." He didn't say this, but Jim, this isn't going to stop you from sending out fake news tweets. This isn't going to stop Thomas Frank from putting out a completely bogus story about one of Trump's economic advisors that was peddled supposedly by Senate staffers, to one of whom may or may not have been Elizabeth Warren's staffer. Totally bogus story. But this doesn't stop any of that. You can still talk all you want about the Golden Showers fake dossier that was paid for by Democrats and then subsidized by the FBI. Jim, you can do all that. You just can't do it on camera anymore. Steve, what's the poll question? What are the results thus far?
Do you care whether the White House allows a live video feed at press briefings?
No, I do not. Not in the least.
Yeah, 90% are with you, Howie.
Yeah. Who? Again. Why would you give bullets to your enemy? That's what this is all about. If you're legit, you don't need this thing. It's absurd.
And when was the last time a major scoop came out of a press briefing?
Yeah,
it's all just mundane stuff.
I mean, think about this. I mentioned this before, but it really bears repeating. If it had been up to those jamokes in the White House press gallery, we would never have known about the tarmac meeting in Phoenix. And not just because it happened in Phoenix and they're in D.C. If you have sources, you can find out just about anything that happens. These people have no sources. They're just running around chasing their tails, trying to first protect Obama and now get Trump. That's all it is. The story, which is going to be a major story, I think, especially if they get Lynch on the stand, Loretta Lynch, the former AG, that was broken by a local TV reporter in Phoenix. Even if most of those people in that room had known about it, they wouldn't have written anything about it because it would have made their heroes, Hillary Clinton and her husband, and Obama and his attorney general, look bad.
I actually tried to look up a story that Jim Acosta has broken, like independent investigative reporting in his entire career. I couldn't find anything today.
How about the story about how Trump tried to get into Scalise's hospital room and he couldn't do it?
I was looking for real news, Howard. I was trying to give him the benefit of the doubt.
That was a fake news story.
I couldn't find a single story.
That was retweeted by 10,000 people, and then he had to correct it 28 minutes later, and that was retweeted by 15 people. That's the way it goes, though. They don't care. So now, because of this latest disaster last week with this guy, Thomas Frank, who used to be a fake news reporter for the USA Today and the Providence Journal, so we have a local tie to him. Because of his fake news story, it was so embarrassing that now they've set up a new fake news desk at CNN. If you have fake news, you have to run it through the fake news editors so we can determine whether you've got enough fake sources so that we can stand this up when it becomes obviously blindingly clear that it's fake news. This is CNN. Arthur, you're next with Howie Carr on the General Communications listener line. Go ahead, Arthur.
Thanks for taking my call, Howie. One of these 6 countries that's on the list is the same group of people that when one of our heroes went down in Mogadishu,
yes,
they came out there like savages and dragged his body through the streets like he was nothing but a piece of dirt. And what do? We allow over 100,000 Somalians into this country, and a bunch of them poured in at the beginning of the year while this travel ban was not being enforced.
I know it. And just from Minnesota alone, I think like 20 of them have gone back to fight for Al-Shabaab. That's the terrorist front, kind of an ISIS, Taliban, Al-Qaeda in Somalia. I know this is what we're letting into the country in large measure.
We've already had 2 Somali terrorist attacks. One I think it was at a mall in Minnesota, and the other one at the Ohio State by 2 Somalians.
Yeah,
it's just insane, and to show how insane it was. I mean, because nobody's more insane to me than Ruth Bader Ginsburg. That 9-0 they voted. These idiots turned around and put our country at risk for all these months until the Supreme Court could hear this case?
I know, Arthur. I mean, it's a good sign. I mean, I think they'll prevail. I'm with these guys though. They're going to be trying to finagle the bagel on letting these people in. Hold on, I'm going to read you some of the stuff they say when we get back. We're going to take some more calls on this. 844-500-4242. The Supreme Court laid it out with the kind of BS they don't want going on, and I don't know that they'll follow the rules, but we know. I'm Howie Carr.
And now, 60 seconds of liberals freaking out over the election of Donald J. Trump.
You're awake, by the way. You're not having a terrible, terrible dream. Also, you're not dead and you haven't gone to hell. This is your life now. This is our election now. This is us. This is our country.
This is a different Earth today than it was 24 hours ago. It's a different place. It just is different.
The woman who President Obama called the most qualified person ever to run for the White House couldn't break through. The question remains, who can?
Deeper concerns tonight that the world's shining light of democracy has gone dark.
Decency lost last night, and that's what's so hurtful about this.
This was a white lash. This was a white lash against a changing country. It was a white lash against a black president in part. And that's the part where the pain comes.
How do we explain how this is possible?
How did this happen?
Trump derangement syndrome. It's a real thing, folks.
Hey there. Quick question for you. Would you be okay with more energy, more endurance, thicker, healthier hair, a better mood, reduced appearance of wrinkles, improved sleep, improved blood pressure and cholesterol profiles, improved vision, improved memory? Okay then. Well now, have you heard of Nature's Youth RSF? It's from the anti-aging experts at nature'syouth.com. Nature'syouth.com. See, at Nature's Youth, they understand exactly what it means to provide top quality health products. And Nature's Youth customers not only improve their health, they know they're also providing their body with the right nourishment to maintain that peak performance and fight the aging process. If health, wellness, and nutrition are what you desire, choose Nature's Youth RSF. I did. You see, you're going to get older. It's just up to you how you feel when you get there. Get started today. Nature's Youth RSF. Simple to use, simple to order. Go to nature'syouth.com. That's nature'syouth.com. nature'syouth.com.
PatriotPrepared.com carries the leading brands of storable food from Numana, Legacy, and Heaven's Harvest. Patriot Prepared. Our name says it all. We're dedicated to empowering you to be self-reliant and confident in any circumstance. Whether you want to be prepared in the event of an emergency or you're an outdoor sports enthusiast, PatriotPrepared.com has prepackaged meals and kits for your entire family. Legacy, Heaven's Harvest, and Numana are known for high-quality, great-tasting, GMO-free, nutritious food with no chemical preservatives. Simple to prepare, easy to store, gluten-free and organic high-quality nutrition options with a 25-year shelf life. You can't beat the feeling of being food secure when you need it most. So go to PatriotPrepared.com right now to pick up your supply of high-quality storable food for your family, because it makes good sense to be prepared. That's PatriotPrepared.com.
And now, 6 fun facts in 60 seconds with Grace Curley.
If your dog's feet smell like corn chips, you're not alone. The term Frito feet was coined to describe the scent. Ew. Officials in Portland, Oregon drained 8 million gallons of water from a reservoir in 2012 because a drunk 21-year-old peed in it. Also ew. There's a basketball court above the Supreme Court. It's known as the highest court in the land. If you start counting at 1 and spell out the numbers as you go, you won't use the letter A until you reach 1,000. Wendy's founder Dave Thomas dropped out of high school but picked up his GED in 1993. His GED class voted him most likely to succeed. William McKinley was on the $500 bill, Grover Cleveland was on the $1,000 bill, and James Madison was on the $5,000 bill.
This has been 6 fun facts with Grace Curley in 60 seconds. Check out Grace's latest posts, pictures, and tweets at HowieCarrShow.com. Traveling around New England? Wherever you go, Howie's there. Find Howie's list of stations at HowieCarrShow.com. Now, back to Howie Carr.
This half hour of the Howie Carr Show is powered by Wicked Good Cupcakes. If you're looking for the perfect treat for any occasion, look no further than Wicked Good Cupcakes. Ordering is easy. Go to their website at wickedgoodcupcakes.com. That's wickedgoodcupcakes.com. So anyway, before we get back to the phone lines, I just want to read you this. This is from the decision today by the Supreme Court. They're talking about who has the credible claim and the bona fide relationship. And again, they are opening up a can of worms. They're the dissenters, Gorsuch, Alito, and Clarence Thomas are right about that. But what they say is they go, they talk about, if you have a son, if you have a brother-in-law, son-in-law, parent who lives in the country, and you're al-Baghdadi, you can get into the country. And again, I mean, why is that allowed? But anyway, so you're saying these are the people who can come in. Not so, and I'm reading now from the decision, not so someone who enters into a relationship simply to avoid the restrictions. For example, this is their words, the Supreme Court's words. For example, a nonprofit group devoted to immigration issues may not contact foreign nationals from the designated countries, add them to client lists, and then secure their entry by claiming injury from their exclusion. So there, I mean, not that this is going to stop the terrorist sympathizer groups from trying to get ISIS members into the country. We all know that, but at least the Supreme Court is telling them, well, we know what you're going to try to do. So I appreciate that too. Again, it's not a perfect solution to the terrorist problem from Muslims coming into the country, Muslim aliens, but it's better than what we would have had under Hillary Clinton. I'll put it that way. Greg, you're next with Howie Carr on the General Communications listener line. Go ahead, Greg.
Thank you, Howie. Let me develop this, please. In the long run, I don't share your optimism in it because the executive branch has ceded power to the Supreme Court. I mean, they don't. What did Andrew Jackson tell John Marshall he could do with the Indian Removal Act judgment? He could tell him to go fly a kite. If you listen to Thomas Jefferson, we don't have three equal branches. The courts are supposed to be the least dangerous. That's what he said.
I agree. They're supposed to be the referees. They're not supposed to be on the field.
In fact, they don't even have to listen to the referee. Alexander Hamilton said in Federalist Paper 78, I teach 8th grade history, but if I taught high school, my kids would be reading the Federalist Papers. In Federalist 78, Hamilton said, the judiciary has no influence over either the sword or the purse. Who is the sword? The president. Who is the purse? The Congress.
I understand, Greg, but I mean, it's that the things you're talking about were 150, 200 years ago. The pendulum has swung the other way. It's got to swing back the other way. I mean, this is at least a beginning, isn't it?
The other branches have allowed it.
I know.
As I tell my students, it's no longer we the people; it's we the sheeple. Abraham Lincoln said it. He said, when we give the Supreme Court that much power, the people, his words, will have ceased to be their own rulers. So Trump can just give the middle finger to the court and do what he does. The Constitution grants all lawmaking power to the Congress. It doesn't say some.
I know. Greg, you're arguing though what it should be in a perfect world. Again, I mean, we're trying to make up for all these generations of court abuse and timidity in the legislative and executive branches, and this is at least a start. I mean, at least the Fourth and the Ninth Circuits have been slapped down to a degree today. Isn't this better than nothing? What would happen if Hillary Clinton were president? Nothing would have happened, right? Would be swamped with these people would be coming in unhindered, unimpeded, and she said herself there would be no vetting. That was her promise. 5 times as many coming in with no vetting. And this is a start. I mean, what did Reagan say? Don't let the perfect be the enemy of the good. It's true. It's true. We are mortals. We're not perfect beings, and so we're never going to have a perfect society. And we're dealing here with evil, great evil in the world, whether it's ISIS or the Democrat Party. And we dodged a big bullet in November, and and again, I'm not saying everything's perfect and the healthcare is not perfect, and there's all kinds of problems, but it could be worse, Greg. Thanks for the call. Mike, you're next with Howie Carr on the General Communications listener line. Go ahead, Mike. Go ahead, Mike. Mike's gone. Jake, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Jake.
Thanks, Howie, for reporting on the really fake news. Greatly appreciated. It's always good. Mr. Acosta must be killing himself, but one way, as you said, take the bullets away. If he doesn't get any FaceTime, it must be breaking his little heart.
Exactly. That's what Sean Spicer said to him. You know, he just basically said those exact words. Yeah, he said, chill out. You know, it's great.
Appropriate. But remember this, Howie, and this kind of predates me, but remember, the Russians are coming. The Russians are coming. Remember that spoof movie?
Yeah, from the 60s. We actually pulled a cutout a couple of months ago. We've got it right here. Alan Arkin was the star, I think. It was a pretty funny movie. A Russian submarine landed on Nantucket or Martha's Vineyard. Here it is. We got it. Here it comes.
The Russians have landed. This whole dang island's under attack by Russians.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's really what we have, but who's really the enemy? And you just said it. The leftist Democrats who ruined that party. They are terrorists. They act as terrorists with all their, the slander and all the artists, so-called artists that attack the president, want to behead him and stab him. They're the enemy. They're on the terrorist watch list.
Yeah, I mean, what does it tell you about how out of control things are on that side of the aisle when the Supreme Court has to actually point out what they're going to try to do to bring these people into the country? I mean, it's in the decision. This is how you're going to try to get away with it by flouting the law. They didn't, it's not suggested, sources say. It's right there in black and white. This is what you people are going to do. And we know you're going to do it, so don't try it. I mean, how bad is that, Jake? I don't even think that they wouldn't have written something like that even 10 years ago, because it wouldn't have been so blatantly pro-terrorist as they are now.
Exactly. And that's why we need voices of reason like yourself out there. And to Greg's point, I like his historical point, but we need to celebrate some victories like the Democrats thought they were going to get, but it was snatched away, whether it was the election in Atlanta or the Supreme Court now is stepping in. Let's take our victories, because we are fortunate that he's in that office and he's being bombarded daily and he's getting things done.
Right.
It's killing them.
Right, and there's all kinds of little things going on too, Jake, which I don't even have time to get into them in the torrent of news every day. Do you know that Yellowstone National Park, they took the grizzlies off the endangered species list that last week? There's like 10 times as many grizzlies as there used to be. They're threatening sheep. They're threatening people. They're threatening everybody up there. And they just said, we don't need to have them on the endangered list anymore. And of course, all the conservationists and the left wing Greens, those type of people are going crazy. And the ranchers and the people who run the parks are saying, you'd think the conservationists would be happy. The grizzlies are back. But they're angry. They're angry because they'd rather have people eaten than have the grizzlies, pruned back a little bit, their population. Yeah. Thank you, Jake. 844-500-4242. I should have got a screen save yesterday of Drudge. There were like 8 feel-good stories on the front page of Drudge. And on a Sunday, it was great.
It's definitely a sign of the times, though, that a feel-good story for us is just having the law upheld by the Supreme Court.
Right, and having them point out, by the way, this is what we know you're going to do, you slime bags. And then they even use the word nonprofit. I mean, it's like, it seems like 2 or 3 years ago, it was like, it wasn't like a secret, but you had to pay attention to know that they're running all these scams out of these nonprofits. Now they're actually putting it in court decisions. Don't try to use these nonprofits to get around the law of the land.
We should also note that Neil Gorsuch is living up to the promise.
Yeah,
big time.
He is. I was afraid that Kennedy wasn't going to resign today. I just didn't get that vibe, and it looks like he's not leaving. It's unfortunate, but. You can't win them all. Ted Williams is the greatest hitter of all time or one of the greatest because he hit 400 one year, right? 400. That Joe DiMaggio got a hit in 56 games in a row. You don't win every day. You don't get a hit every at bat. You don't drain a 3-pointer every time you toss it up. 1-844-500-4242. I'm Howie Carr.
The Howie Carr Show continues next.
We here at Matthews Brothers are still learning about this whole social media thing. After all, we're 163 years old and just barely got used to videotapes. One thing we've learned is, while being followed walking down the street is not necessarily a good thing, being followed on Facebook is. At least we think it must be, since the two top Facebook pages are Facebook and Facebook for Phones. Anyway, for no particular reason, we decided this year we're going to increase the number of people who follow us on Facebook. And not just anybody. No, sir. We want people just like you. Now, you might be saying, Matthews Brothers, why me? I'm not a builder, remodeler, architect, or typical homeowner considering purchasing windows in the next 6 months to 1 year. Why should I follow you? Good question. Because by following us, you just may win one of 10 fishing trips aboard the fishing vessel Hard Merchandise with Captain Dave Marciano. That's why. Boom! You can learn all the details, but only...
Visit New Hampshire's largest Liberty Safe dealer online at libertysafenh.com.
Are you a veteran? Or maybe you consider yourself a dysfunctional veteran. Good news, there's a store just for you. It's called the Dysfunctional Veteran Store, with t-shirts and sweatshirts that get the message across loud and clear, like this black t-shirt that says boldly across the front, Dysfunctional Veteran, leave me alone. And then there's the t-shirt that takes a major dig at the VA. It says, the VA, giving veterans a second chance to die for their country since 1930. How'd you like to wear that around? Are you a dysfunctional veteran? Shop the Dysfunctional Veteran Store at mydvstore.com. That's mydvstore.com. We could play another commercial, or we could just play 60 seconds of Donald Trump. Yeah, let's do that.
While I'm not at this time a candidate for the presidency, I will decide by June whether or not I will become one. Business Week magazine, which is now Bloomberg Business Week, said in a vote of its readers that Donald Trump was the world's most competitive business person.
The Pew Research says that there are, for immigrants on the whole,
Come on, try getting it out. Try getting it out.
I'll get it out.
I mean, I don't know if you're going to put this on television, but you don't even know what you're talking about. Try getting it out. Go ahead. I know the greatest negotiators in the world. Some are horrible people, horrible human beings. Who cares? Some Wall Street guys, they're brutal, they're miserable. You wouldn't want to go out to dinner. They're terrible people. I love them.
This is the Howie Carr Show.
Many legislators claim to be for lower taxes and government transparency. But are they really? Massachusetts Fiscal Alliance keeps you informed by posting the voting records of our elected officials. You can log on to our website at massfiscal.org. Click Scorecard to see how your legislator is voting on Beacon Hill. And while you're there, make a donation. And be sure to join our email list so you can stay up to date with the latest information on what's happening at the State House with Massachusetts Fiscal Alliance.
Paid for by the Mass Fiscal Alliance, Rick Green, Chairman.
Hi, I'm Howie Carr, and I'm here with Rick Green of the Mass Fiscal Alliance. Wow, Mass Fiscal is really driving the Moonbats crazy.
Who knew putting voting records online would be so controversial? Many legislators claim to be for lower taxes and government transparency, but they sure don't vote that way.
Your group is just what this state needs. How can the listeners help you guys?
Just have them visit our website at www.massfiscal.org. They can join our email list and donate if they like. And of course, make sure they check out our scorecard to see how their legislators voted.
Paid for by the Mass Fiscal Alliance. Rick Green, Chairman.
Would odors, mold, and mildew describe your basement or crawl space? It doesn't have to be that way. Transform them into a fresh, healthy, usable one with the technologically advanced Wave Moisture Control Units. The computerized operation maximizes moisture control and also expels harmful radon, combustion gases, and numerous other pollutants. Dehumidifiers are old technology that do nothing for air quality and waste energy. Wave units are intelligent, self-monitoring, do not need maintenance, and will save you hundreds in electricity. Wave units are still running effectively effectively over 15 years. They've been tested and installed in public and military housing and by property managers nationwide. Buy a unit now, and if your home is not fresher and drier, you can return it for a full refund for up to 12 months. What have you got to lose? Call now. 1-888-618-WAVE. 1-888-618-WAVE. Or visit mydryhome.com. That's mydryhome.com.
Wave Home Solutions for a healthy, comfortable home.
Grace Curley is giving you her take on the news of the day. Read Grace's latest column at HowieCarrShow.com. This is the Howie Carr Show.
844-500-4242, 413 says, was Kennedy a Democrat or Republican? Well, he was appointed by Ronald Reagan. He's from California. And he's somewhat conservative, but he's not Gorsuch. He's not Alito. He's not Thomas. He's not any of those guys. And he's kind of squishy. He'd be. I mean, obviously, if one of them had to go, we'd pick Ruth Bader Ginsburg or Breyer, but rather than Kennedy. But he's not reliable. And I think I don't know where it came from that he was thinking about quitting. I think he was having a party for his old clerks, and I think that's what that was the impetus. Just the rumor kind of got out of control. But at the party last night, he didn't mention anything about leaving, so he probably was bogus to begin with. It wasn't CNN style fake news, but it was just. There was no there. Let's put it that way.
On the betting sites, there's you can wager on who's going to be the next justice to leave the Supreme Court. And it's been going on for like the last 3 months that he's been spiking. People have been betting that he was going to be the one to leave the Supreme Court, but it kind of plummeted after the reunion. It's
like Greg said, they have so much power now; it's hard to get them to leave. Souter may be like the last one to leave. While he's still vertical.
That and the clerks do all the work.
Yeah. It's not. I mean, it's not a. It's. I think you get paid. You go on senior status anyway, so it's not like you take a pay cut when you quit. But it's just like the power. That's what it is. The ultimate aphrodisiac, as they say. 844-500-4242. Leo, you're next with Howie Carr on the General Communications listener line. Go ahead, Leo.
Yeah, Howie. Do you believe that crock they're coming up with about Obama didn't do more about the Russians because he didn't want to look like he was helping Hillary? They had a meeting in the White House. Comey was there and all the big wigs. And they were told that Comey wanted to go public, and they said, stand down. The reason's got to be they thought Hillary was getting elected. Everybody did,
right,
including myself.
Right,
So
I agree.
Hillary,
I did too. The thing is, Leo, that's just it. Why did they need to take any action against the Russians? They admitted they didn't do anything. That's like saying if somebody is in Moscow or somewhere or in China or anywhere, and they're sticking pens in a voodoo doll of Donald Trump, does that mean you have to issue a nuclear strike against them? I mean, it's ridiculous. Nothing that they were doing was having any effect, right?
Absolutely, but if they made Russia into the boogeyman that they've made them into now, then Bill and Hillary couldn't have been sucking all the money out of Russia that they were getting, because everybody would have made them. The light would have been shined on it.
Yeah.
So,
Did you see the latest today? There's this whole thing with Qatar, the Persian Gulf state that is supposedly backing terrorists and all this stuff. Did you see it just came out that they gave the Clinton Foundation $1 million cash on Bill Clinton's 65th birthday, $1 million cash. And guess what?
Nice
Hillary forgot to report it to the State Department. It was a mere oversight.
It could happen to anybody, Howie. Come on.
You know what? You have a terrorist supporting state, Qatar, is giving. How bad do they have to be when Saudi Arabia is after them? That's how bad They give $1 million under the table to the Clintons, but nothing to see here, Leo. Move along.
I'm sure they have
You think you'll see anything about that on the network newscast tonight?
I'm sure they have a long track record of supporting nonprofits here in the United States, Howie. Don't just single out the Clinton Foundation.
Right. I mean, I don't mind. I'd rather have the King of Morocco giving $25 million to the Clintons, because I know what he wants. He just wants to get the phosphate monopoly in the United States. I mean, that's business, I mean, but when you have a terrorist supporting state giving money to the person they think under the table to the person they think is going to be the next president of the United States, that's concerning, isn't it? You would think, why isn't that on CNN? Why isn't MSNBC all bent out of shape about that? You know the answer, Leo, right?
Isn't getting any more money. I wonder why. I mean, if it was that good, I was thinking of writing him a check.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I got an email from him on December 31st. Last chance to get your tax write-off for this calendar year on your tax returns. Thanks for the call, Leo. Russ, you're next with Howie Carr on the General Communications listener line. Go ahead, Russ.
Hello, Howie. How you doing?
Good.
Hey, Howie, listen, I need your thoughts on this, okay?
Yeah.
I want to step back like maybe 50, 60 years, okay, when we were children. We're about the same age, okay?
Yeah.
And I'm looking at things that have happened over the last 50-plus years, and I'm thinking to myself, you know what? The Democrats, the left, whatever you want to call them, they're always pushed, and they pushed, and they pushed. And the only way that they've been able to get this agenda the way it is now, the way society is right now, is because the people I feel that I voted for over the last 44 years have just let them do it. What do you think about that? I mean, I never hear anybody talking about it.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, it's a democracy, so the voters get what they deserve, right? I mean, we deserve this, I guess, is all you can say. I agree. I mean, there's a lot we have to answer for as voters, people in our age group, that we didn't stop this. I mean, I never voted for a Kennedy. I never voted for Elizabeth Warren. I never voted for Tip O'Neill. Even when I lived in his district, I voted for the communist one year.
Jimmy Carter.
I voted for Jimmy Carter once, and that was a mistake I made when I was, 24, something like that. And I never made that mistake again. That was just because I was PO'd at Gerald Ford for pardoning Nixon. But everybody's entitled to one or two mistakes. But what are you going to do? I mean, I don't know about you, but I voted right pretty much all the way down the line. We'll take some more calls on this when we come back. 844-500-4242. I'm Howie Carr.
We could play another commercial, or we could play 60 seconds of Donald Trump. Yeah, let's do that.
We have proven that we can actually be civil to each other. In fact, just before taking the dais, Hillary accidentally bumped into me, and she very civilly said, "Pardon me." I know Hillary met my campaign manager, and I got the chance to meet the people who are working so hard to get her elected. There they are, the heads of NBC, CNN, CBS, ABC. There's the New York Times right over there, and the Washington Post. They're working overtime. True.
This is the Howie Carr Show.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I'm telling you right now, it's awesome. I was trying to get my blood pressure regulated, okay? And after 3 days of taking this thing, my blood pressure went back down to normal. I am ecstatic. I am so happy with this stuff. It is my savior.
This was the first summer that I have not had to have a steroid shot to help me to breathe.
The reason why I'm taking it because I've got Hep C. Once I began taking your stuff, it took a few months, but believe it or not, my liver enzymes are way down and it's normal now. It works.
The new challenge will allow you to receive 2 months of Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies free. And we'll even ship them to you free. Call now for details. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code TALK.
It's the most effective product that I've ever bought in my life, but I should have ordered it like 15 years ago.
The Howie Carr Show continues next. We could play another commercial, or we could play 60 seconds of Donald Trump. Yeah, let's do that.
We have proven that we can actually be civil to each other. In fact, just before taking the dais, Hillary accidentally bumped into me, and she very civilly said, "Pardon me." I know Hillary met my campaign manager, and I got the chance to meet the people who are working so hard to get her elected. There they are, the heads of NBC, CNN, CBS, ABC. There's the New York Times right over there, and the Washington Post. They're working overtime. True.
This is the Howie Carr Show.
Hey guys, it's Grace from the Howie Carr Show. Gifts are always great, but who really needs more stuff? Let's be honest, between Christmas and the New Year, it's hard to come up with a nice way to give a great gift without just regifting that old fruitcake. But luckily, we have the perfect gift idea for you. It's the Howie Carr Show VIP experience. If someone you know is a fan of Howard Lauren's car, then this is the perfect way to celebrate any occasion. Come visit Howie in our brand new studio and watch the entire show. Best part? Well, if you were to ask Howie, he'd probably say the Kowloon. And I can't really disagree. But there is also no other way to see all the behind-the-scenes work that goes into New England's favorite radio show. Get your picture with Howie and a selfie with yours truly. We've had over 100 people enjoy the VIP experience, and the reviews have been stellar. We've even had the occasional guest on air to tell their own funny story to the listeners. So don't delay and buy your VIP experience today at HowieCarrshow.com. Click store. HowieCarrshow.com. Click store. Hey guys, it's Grace from the Howie Carr Show. Gifts are always great, but who really needs more stuff? Let's be honest, between Christmas and the New Year, it's hard to come up with a nice way to give a great gift without just regifting that old fruitcake. But luckily, we have the perfect gift idea for you. It's the Howie Carr Show VIP experience. If someone you know is a fan of Howard Lauren's car, then this is the perfect way to celebrate any occasion. Come visit Howie in our brand new studio and watch the entire show. Best part? Well, if you were to ask Howie, he'd probably say the Kowloon. And I can't really disagree. But there is also no other way to see all the behind-the-scenes work that goes into New England's favorite radio show. Get your picture with Howie and a selfie with yours truly. We've had over 100 people enjoy the VIP experience, and the reviews have been stellar. We've even had the occasional guest on air to tell their own funny story to the listeners. So don't delay and buy your VIP experience today at HowieCarrshow.com. Click store. HowieCarrshow.com. Click store.
Hi, this is Howie Carr, attorney at law. Are you a white male who voted for Donald Trump? Do you have a Make America Great sweatshirt or a hat? Have you had a beer since November the 8th? If you answered yes to one or more of the above questions, there's a good chance that you are soon going to be charged with committing a fake hate crime. Will you be ready, you uneducated redneck, when you get charged with committing a fake hate crime? Will you be ready? You need reasonable doubt at a reasonable price. And that's where Howie Carr, attorney at law, Esquire, comes in. Call me at 1-800-FAKE-HRC. 1-800-FAKE-HRC. And we will get you some legal insurance for when it inevitably occurs and you're charged with a fake hate crime.
We could play another commercial, or we could just play 60 seconds of Donald Trump. Yeah, let's do that.
And I've known Hillary for a long time. This is the first time ever, that Hillary is sitting down and speaking to major corporate leaders and not getting paid for it. We've learned so much from WikiLeaks. For example, Hillary believes that it's vital to deceive the people by having one public policy and a totally different policy in private. Now, I'm told Hillary went to confession before tonight's event, but the priest was having a hard time when he asked her about her sins, and she said she couldn't remember 39 times.
This is the Howie Carr Show.
Hey guys, it's Grace from the Howie Carr Show. Gifts are always great, but who really needs more stuff? Let's be honest, between Christmas and the New Year, it's hard to come up with a nice way to give a great gift without just regifting that old fruitcake. But luckily, we have the perfect gift idea for you. It's the Howie Carr Show VIP experience. If someone you know is a fan of Howard Lauren's car, then this is the perfect way to celebrate any occasion. Come visit Howie in our brand new studio and watch the entire show. Best part? Well, if you were to ask Howie, he'd probably say the Kowloon. And I can't really disagree. But there is also no other way to see all the behind-the-scenes work that goes into New England's favorite radio show. Get your picture with Howie and a selfie with yours truly. We've had over 100 people enjoy the VIP experience, and the reviews have been stellar. We've even had the occasional guest on air to tell their own funny story to the listeners. So don't delay and buy your VIP experience today at HowieCarrShow.com.
Better strap yourself in. It's time for the Howie Carr Show.
What would a daily infomercial for the Trump presidency look like? Well, actually, we don't have to wonder. We have the answer right in front of us. It's called Fox and Friends.
CNN very wrongly tied a Trump transition team member to Russia. There's a new rule at the network. You got to get permission from the bosses before putting out any story about Russia.
The restrictions come after CNN had to retract a story connecting Anthony Scaramucci, a prominent ally of President Trump, to a Russian investment fund managed by a Kremlin-controlled bank.
Very fake news.
Live from an undisclosed location.
Paul Ryan has been dreaming about cutting this program since he was hanging out at Keggers in college. He's told that story.
What kind of a man is he?
What kind of a monster is he? Who dreams of cutting Medicaid?
Unchained and unstoppable.
Why is the president going back on his promise?
These are not cuts to Medicaid, George. This slows the rate for the future, and it allows governors more flexibility with Medicaid dollars because they're closest to the people in need.
This 125 million people as of today will be as high as 140 million by 2020. And in 2020, they're going to be looking for somebody to give them medication and health care. And what this bill does is sends them all to death.
Who's your captain? Howie Carr.
How do you change the view that the Democrats are just simply limousine Democrats, that the party is in the hands of Wall Street?
We got to stop riding in limousines.
Well, that's another thing, right? But there's a presumption.
Rump swabs, hacks, and moonbats beware. It's Howie Carr.
Welcome to the Howie Carr Show. If you'd like to join us here on the show today, the number 844-500-4242, 844-500-4242. We'll be joined at the bottom of the hour by Ann Coulter and talking about the various issues of the day with her. And in the meantime, though, we're still going to continue to talk about the Supreme Court decision today. They've restored much of Donald Trump's executive order, which he had every right to issue, banning travel into the nation from 6 Muslim-majority nations. Not even the vast majority of the Muslim population around the world was affected by this, just the ones where there's significant terrorism problems. But they restored it. You still have a right somewhat of a right to come in if you have a bona fide connection to the United States of America and can make a credible claim. And again, obviously that's going to be tested by people trying to get shady characters into the country. The Supreme Court recognized that in their decision today. However, it is a victory for the Trump administration, no doubt about that. And it appears that the ban will be upheld in the fall. And some of the losers here are open borders liberals. From now on, Trump's ability to restrict immigration pursuant to the 1952 Immigration and Nationality Act, passed by, I might add, a Democrat House and a Democrat Senate, will not be questioned by the courts. Another loser, activist liberal judges, the left-wing hacks on the Ninth and Fourth Circuit courts, who placed injunctions on the fully constitutional executive order. They have egg all over their faces, or they would. I mean, it's figurative. They're not shamed. They're just disgusted by the fact that Merrick Garland or Garland Merrick is not on the Supreme Court to uphold their courageous decision to let terrorists come into the country.
Are those judges now judicial martyrs for the left?
Yes, they are. Can we give blanket profiles and courage awards next spring in Cambridge or Dorchester to the Fourth and Ninth Circuit Court of Appeal? At least the ones who voted for it, because there were dissenting justices in both venues. And by the way, and again, I want to point out, as I did in the first hour, kudos to Judge Nathaniel Gorton here in Boston on the First Circuit Court of Appeals. He ruled that the president did have the constitutional authority to do what he did, and the Supreme Court has backed him up. They didn't back up all the left-wing nuts. They backed up Judge Gorton, and kudos to Judge Gorton. Another loser, all the hysterical pundits on CNN, MSNBC, who said that the court was absolutely right. No, they weren't right. They knew they weren't right. Anyone who spent more than a minute studying the 1952 Immigration and Nationality Act knew that the judges on the Fourth and Ninth Circuit courts were totally wrong. They didn't read the law. This is the thing. I mean, if you're a left-wing nut judge, I mean, they always say they let their clerks, guys who just got out of law school, women just got out of law school, they let them write the decisions, but they don't even have to read anymore. They just decide how do I feel about this? I feel that any terrorist that want to come into the country and go on welfare and use their EBT cards to buy pressure cooker, they should be allowed to do that. Who am I to exercise my white privilege and tell them they don't have the right to do that? It's great. It must be great to be a just judge, an appeals court judge appointed by Obama. Not so good if you're appointed by Trump, because you got to do the work. You got to actually take the law book down from the shelf and read it, make notes, see the citation, and then maybe go back to the shelf and pick up another book to read. It's almost like work. Here's another loser, Sally Yates. Remember her, y'all? Yeah, I'm the acting attorney general, but y'all, hush my mouth and call me Dixie, but I don't think that this is a good thing to enforce the law as it's done written. Hey, honey, you're fired. She's going to get a Profiles in Courage award too, but now she's basically been told that she was in the wrong to not enforce the law that Donald Trump told her to enforce.
I think she's up for an interview still with Megyn Kelly, though.
Yeah. Do we have the rate? Was she on last night, Megyn Kelly? Do we have those overnights yet? I don't think anyone even cares anymore.
It might be an asterisk at this point.
Yeah, exactly. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. The Democrat Party, they've lost, God only knows how many future undocumented Democrats they've lost coming into the country now. And finally, terrorists, of course. This isn't going to totally shut off the spigot of terrorists coming into the country, but it's reduced it somewhat. And, that's good. That's good as far as I can see. 844-500-4242. And again, I'm going to read this from the Supreme Court decision just to show that they know how the scam works now with immigration. They actually mentioned what's going to be happening now that you're allowed to, if you have a quote unquote bona fide claim, a bona fide connection to the United States and can make a credible claim that you should be in the country, you'll be allowed to come in. And Justice Thomas said he sees litigation until this thing is resolved, and he's obviously right. But here's what they're saying they don't want to see. We don't want to see someone who enters into a relationship simply to avoid the strictures that we've set up. And then here's the exact quote from the Supreme Court. For example, a nonprofit group devoted to immigration issues may not contact foreign nationals from the designated countries, add them to client lists, and then secure their entry by claiming injury from their exclusion. Not that they're going to obey that. They're not going to obey that any more than they obey any other law or regulation or common sense decision to try to restrict terrorists from getting into the countries. But at least they're called on it. It's there in black and white. Jerry, you're next with Howie Carr on the General Communications listener line. Go ahead, Jerry.
Hey, Howie, I'm a little older than you are, but at least I can say I never voted for Jimmy Carter. I'm happy about that.
Well, what can I say? I'm not perfect.
Look, back in the mid-'90s, I was doing research on political parties. And can you remember back when the Socialist Workers' Party always ran a presidential candidate?
Yes, when I was at Deerfield Academy, they actually brought in Norman Thomas as a speaker for us in my freshman year. I saw Norman Thomas speak. Not many people can say that now, but I'm one of them. Go ahead. Yes.
On their website in the mid-'90s, they announced that they would no longer field a presidential candidate, that they would work for the economic and socialist changes to this country from inside the Democratic Party.
Mm-hmm.
They also stated that they had obtained a great foothold in education and academia, and they were targeting the environmental movement. The rest is history, Howie.
Yeah. Well, they do have a home in the Democratic Party. I mean, look, if the Democratic Party's presidential primary process had been on the level last year, probably a non-Democrat would have been the nominee. I refer, of course, to Senator Bernie Sanders, who is now all lawyered up because he might have a slight problem with he and his wife trying to get this money from banks to expand Burlington College, and now there are reports that his office may have tried to pressure the banks. Well, since when is that against the law, by the way? I mean, doesn't Maxine Waters, didn't her husband try to pressure the banks or pressure the government to give her husband's bank a loan to keep it in operation back during one of the S&L crises? Even Barney Frank was backing away from that deal. He was so concerned. So I don't know how the Politico said there was thin evidence that Bernie was involved in the shakedown. But if Politico says there was thin evidence, I mean, well, you don't hire a lawyer because you're in the clear, if you know what I mean.
Putting pressure on a bank to make a loan to one of your friends, that sounds like something an oligarch would do.
Yes, exactly. But Bernie's moved on to other things now, talking about how many people are going to die if the Republican health care plan passes. As if they're not dying now under Obamacare because they can't afford to go to the doctors. This half hour of the Howie Carr Show, by the way, is brought to you by Subaru of New England, featuring the symmetrical all-wheel drive Subaru Impreza. Prepared to drive away this summer. Summer love. It's what makes a Subaru a Subaru. Learn more at SubaruofNewEngland.com. I'm Howie Carr.
Hang on. The Howie Carr Show returns next.
After 163 years of making wicked awesome made windows, Matthews Brothers has almost 600 followers on Facebook. We were pretty proud of that number until we learned that Coca-Cola has 100 million followers, Vin Diesel has 101 million followers for who knows what reason, and even the stupid Farmville cows have 35 million. All of a sudden, 600 seemed pretty pathetic. We thought to ourselves, Coke is tasty enough, I suppose, but what can it do to help control your home's energy costs? Nothing. And Vin Diesel, whose acting credentials are obviously unquestioned, can he help make your home quieter by reducing unwanted outside noise? I doubt it. And the Farmville cows, they're not even real. So we decided to do something about it. Something that Coca-Cola, Vin Diesel, and those stupid Farmville cows could never do. We're going to triple our Facebook fan base by Labor Day, and we're not above offering you a fishing trip aboard the Hard Merchandise with Captain Dave Marciano in order to accomplish that goal. You can learn all the details, but only at Better Lumberyards and Window Professionals, or on the web at MatthewsBrothers.com. Matthews Brothers with 1 T, America's oldest window manufacturer.
You and your family. If you want to defeat Elizabeth Warren, then go to Deal for Senate. That's DIEHL for Senate.com to make a donation. With your help, we'll make Massachusetts great again by defeating Warren and putting your interests ahead of the Washington elite. I'm Jeff Deal, and I approve this message. Paid for and authorized by Deal for U.S. Senate.
Hey, all you guys out there, can we talk about something personal? Your hair. Life is too short to always be fretting about your hair. Is the bald spot growing? Do people notice my comb over? The answer to that one is, of course they do. But you can solve your hair problems once and for all. Do what I did. Get a DiStefano hair restoration. After my DiStefano IGT procedure, my hair is thicker, my bald spots are gone, and no more comb over. My hair looks great now thanks to DiStefano hair restoration. I don't mind looking at my hair in the mirror anymore. Check out my hair for yourself on the Howie Cam or at my book signings. Get in touch with DiStefano Hair Restoration today. Call 800-858-HAIR. That's 800-858-HAIR. 800-858-HAIR or visit hairman.com.
And now, a bunch of random facts with Grace.
It is impossible to sneeze with your eyes open. The placement of a donkey's eyes in its head enables it to see all 4 feet at all times. Months that begin on a Sunday will always have a Friday the 13th. What is called a French kiss in the English-speaking world is known as an English kiss in France. Birds don't urinate, but they do poop. Let me tell you, you can't kill yourself by holding your breath. So that's good. A woman from California once tried to sue the makers of Cap'n Crunch because the Crunch berries contained no berries of any kind. In Japan, crooked teeth are considered cute and attractive. A Swedish woman lost her wedding ring and found it 16 years later, growing on a carrot in her garden. The toothpaste Colgate in Spanish translates to, go hang yourself.
This has been a bunch of random facts with Grace. Check out Grace's latest posts, pictures, and blogs at HowieCarrshow.com.
You've probably heard about all the great benefits of goat milk soap, but did you know some companies take shortcuts? At Old New England Soap, we make our organic goat's milk soap using 36% goat's milk. That's 17% more than most others. Our bars are larger, so they last longer, producing lots of lather packed with vitamins. And our soap is a natural moisturizer that smooths dry and damaged skin. Order online at oldnesoap.com. That's oldnesoap.com. You've tried the rest. Now try the best. oldnesoap.com.
Water-based soaps on supermarket shelves use harsh chemical acids to break down dead skin cells. And that's just not good for you. At Old New England Soap, our soaps are made without chemical ingredients, contain no alcohol or petroleum products, and use 85% organic materials and carry the USDA's organic certification. Try some today. Go to oldnesoap.com. That's oldnesoap.com. oldnesoap.com.
Hi, folks. In a world of GMO, genetically modified organisms, that is, chemicals, processed foods, and a healthcare system that's unraveling like a cheap suit, it's time to prepare. God created herbs, and herbs help man. Our body can heal itself, just sometimes we need assistance. You need some help? GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com. Our mild detox is quite powerful with its unique blend of 8 different herbs. And if you're looking for more, our non-GMO supplements will help you with different needs you might have. Health should be a top priority. Take care of your health naturally. Log on to GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com. Give your body a treat. Let the herbs do their thing naturally. Read all the testimonies on the website, GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com. Sickness and viruses are like intruders, and herbs are like warriors. Let the tea work for you. That's GetTheTea.com.
Howie is saving you 50% off your favorite products and services. Howie's Cheap Bastard Deal, Thursdays at 3:30. Get to HowieCarrShow.com. Click deals. Now, back to Howie Carr.
Today's poll question is brought to you by Casper. Get a Casper mattress and sleep cool and comfortable every night. It's a higher quality mattress at a more affordable price. Test one for yourself for 100 nights risk-free. Use code Howie at Casper.com for $50 towards the purchase of your mattress. Terms and conditions apply. Steve, what's the poll question? What are the results thus far?
Do you care whether the White House allows a live video feed at press briefings?
Not in the least, no.
90% say no, Howie.
Okay, 90%. All right. 844-500-4242. A nonprofit group devoted to immigration issues may not contact foreign nationals from the designated countries, add them to client lists, and then secure their entry by claiming injury from their exclusion. But what does bona fide mean? You know, if you... Abdul, do you? You're from Tehran, huh? Do you go down to the square in Tehran on Friday nights for the "Death to America" chant? Yes, I do, Sahib. So I'm he's telling the truth. He's bona fide, right? That doesn't necessarily make him a bad terrorist, does it? That's what he's going to claim. But at least, the thing is, even before this ruling, the number of quote-unquote refugees trying to get into the country was down 50% in the last couple of months. So it's already having its effect. We're getting fewer terrorists coming into the country. We just have to get it down to zero. Zero. That's the goal here. By the way, the CBO, the Congressional Budget Office, now sees 22 million more uninsured by 2026. But the CBO is not really on the level. It's a Democrat front group, basically, in spite of its nonpartisan name, and I don't think we can really judge much about that. That's going to give Comrade Chris Matthews and Rachel Maddow and all the rest of them a chance to go crazy tonight. People dying in the streets. Stand by for a lot more of that rhetoric going on. By the way, before we get to the calls, and we have a lot of people want to talk, Ted Kennedy Jr. has announced he's not running for governor of Connecticut. He's a state senator, in case you didn't know. He used to be a lobbyist, but then his father died and Billings dropped off more than somewhat. I wonder, could there possibly have been a connection between not having his father's phone number anymore to call on when he needed to take somebody into the Capitol? But I love the way the Globe's playing this. And again, in my book, Kennedy Babylon, we get into, and there'll be more in Kennedy Babylon Volume 2 about how the Kennedys have always controlled the Boston Globe. But listen to this. Listen to this description of his decision. I mean, it was obviously written on a tear-stained laptop by this guy, James Pendell, who's a hack from New Hampshire. He went after Scott Brown during the Senate fight in 2012 or 2014. Had he gone on to become governor, Kennedy would have likely emerged as a national figure in Democrat circles. He may have even been rumored to be a Democrat presidential candidate in 2020 or later. The reason he didn't run is because he wasn't going to get elected. Okay? He's a state senator. The Democrats have flat out destroyed Connecticut, probably worse than they've destroyed Illinois. Probably no Democrat is going to get elected in Connecticut next year, and Ted Kennedy didn't do it.
Don't worry, the bench is real deep on the Democratic side, though. Don't worry.
I mean, even the Globe, how can they write something as nonsensical as that? I mean, any state, you could say that about any state senator in the country, I think. If so and so had been elected governor next year, he or she would have been a legitimate presidential candidate. Well, any governor is a legitimate president. The trick is getting elected, and obviously he came to the conclusion he couldn't get elected.
But I mean, is Daniel Malloy a legitimate presidential candidate right now?
Well, he is. He's bleeped the bed, and he's bleeped the bed for all Democrats this year, as Ted Kennedy has figured out. You know, just like Chris Christie has bleeped the bed for Republicans in New Jersey. Keith, you're next with Howie Carr on the General Communications listener line. Go ahead, Keith.
Hey, Howie, I got 2 points. First of all, I technically voted for Jimmy Carter, too.
What do you mean technically? What does that technical mean stuff? You either did or you didn't.
Well, in high school, I was too young to vote, but my social studies teacher made me take Carter for the debate.
Okay.
Nobody else wanted him. I actually won the debate, so.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
But I think the thing with Spicer is that there didn't CNN in the pocketbook. Because with him on TV, remember they said all the ratings were going up for all the networks for covered.
Exactly.
So I think that's what they're doing. They're getting them where it hurts.
I agree. I think you're onto something, Keith. You know, that's the thing Trump used to say during the campaign. He said, you know, do you know how much money they're charging? If I get out of this debate, it's going to cost them, you know, $10,000 per 30-second spot, or probably even more than that. Thanks for the call, Keith. I'm Howie Carr.
We could play another commercial, or we could just play 60 seconds of Donald Trump. Yeah, let's do that.
She got kicked off the Watergate Commission. How corrupt do you have to be to get kicked off the Watergate Commission? Everyone knows, of course, Hillary's belief that it takes a village, which only makes sense, after all, in places like Haiti, where she's taken a number of them. I wasn't really sure if Hillary was going to be here tonight, because I guess you didn't send her invitation by email. Or maybe you did, and she just found out about it through the wonder of WikiLeaks.
This is the Howie Carr Show.
I'm getting older and noticing that my body just doesn't work as well as it used to. So I like to keep fit as possible by hitting the gym a few times a week. Recently, I started having a nagging bicep pain, and it got so bad I couldn't even lift the weights. When I was complaining about it to a friend, he told me about Angioprim. He said chelation helps remove toxins, heavy metals, and cholesterol in veins and arteries that may cause blockages. You know, after just 1 week of taking Angioprim, the pain was gone, and now I'm back in the gym full strength. Scientific research proves the active ingredient in Angioprim has superior oral chelation action that helps promote cardiovascular health. So to learn more, go to angioprim.com. That's ANGIOPRIM.com, or talk to a trained consultant. Call Angioprim toll free at 877-882-7221. You'll feel better with more energy. Call 877-882-7221 or go to the website angioprim.com. If your home has hard water, then it's likely that limescale is clogging your pipes, damaging your appliances, costing you hundreds of dollars each year. You can eliminate limescale in the entire house with HydroCare products available at Wave Home Solutions. Easy and efficient with no maintenance, no salts, no chemicals, and no coils. And you can buy with confidence from Wave Home Solutions. Performance guaranteed. Just go to bestwater411.com. That's bestwater411.com.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
And now, 60 seconds of liberals freaking out over the election of Donald J. Trump.
Well, America is crying tonight. I'm not sure how much of America, but a very, very significant portion. And I mean literally crying.
Everybody is crying and so upset, and it is the end of their world.
Feels like the end of the world.
We were on Lifetime last night, and I was slowly getting drunk.
This is the time for real wisdom. Lightning round.
I genuinely do not understand how America can be this disorganized or this hateful.
You know, she was Hillary Clinton, the most qualified candidate, the best suited for the job, the best temperament. Now we're hearing not a good candidate.
History is put on hold yet again.
They're scared, depressed, despaired, desperate even, almost clinging to me.
Plus the Supreme Court, who knows where that's going to go. So the only checks and balances we have are us, the View.
Trump derangement syndrome. It's a real thing, folks. 844-500-4242. This is the Howie Carr Show.
Eight 500-4242. We're trying to get Ann Coulter on the line, but let's take a call or two here while we're waiting. Paul, you're next with Howie Carr on the General Communications listener line. Go ahead, Paul.
Good afternoon, Howie.
Hi.
Howie, good afternoon. I worked for the Boston Election Department for many years, and I was actually at one point one of the guys in charge of the voting machines back in the day when I was, even when they went to the new system, the optical system. But we went back to the old steel machines that were stored in buildings and all over Boston, and it was like that all over the country. Basically, you put them where you could, you kept them. They were too big to move, and if there was ever a chance of any voter fraud to be perpetrated, it was even at the minimum level it could have been. It would have been then when these machines were left out in buildings. They were sealed after an election, before and after an election.
Right.
However, they were put in these buildings for short periods of time before they would be, they would finally be stripped out and ready for the next election.
Yeah, and I think there was a cop in every precinct in Boston. There were like 250 precincts, still are. And when the polls closed at 8:00. They would take the boxes down to City Hall, and these were cops. And chances are there was not much fraud going on in Boston. There were some elections where there was a little fraud going on, but not many. All right, thanks for the call, Paul. Joining us now on the line is Ann Coulter, author of many best-selling New York Times books. Ann, thanks for being with us here on the Howie Carr Show.
Sure, good to talk to you, Howie.
Well, I know, it's not a perfect decision by the Supreme Court, but it's better than we would have gotten under Hillary Clinton, isn't it, today on the travel ban?
Boy, it sure is, and I love that Gorsuch is one of the ones dissenting, saying, oh, come on, just hold up the whole thing.
Right, isn't it? I mean, I was talking about this earlier, and isn't it amazing, though, that the Supreme Court actually puts in the decision how the left-wing groups are going to try to scam this thing? It's right there in the decision in black and white. I've never seen anything like that. Have you?
That's a good question. There could well be examples, but it is... we really are. We're at a turning point on so many things in this country right now, including whether we can keep our country. But the corruption of the judiciary, 100% from the left. I know people want to sound reasonable by saying, "Oh, both sides." That was the Bill O'Reilly theme. But there's really no question that it is the left that has used the courts to issue policy decisions. You will find conservative judges and justices issuing opinions where they don't personally like the results, the policy result, but that's what the law is. That's what judges are supposed to do. But some time ago, the left figured out that even though courts aren't higher than the president or Congress in the Constitution, it was supposed to be the least dangerous branch just by virtue of logistics, because they go last. If they suddenly hallucinate rights to all kinds of things that they can't get Americans to vote for in a thing called democracy, they win. There's really they have the last word. That's how we got gay marriage and abortion, things that you can look through the Constitution yourself. It says absolutely nothing about gay marriage and abortion, and that is what the Ninth and the Fourth Circuits have done with this travel ban. There's absolutely no question, both constitutionally and statutorily, that the president has the authority, the commander-in-chief, to exclude whatever non-Americans he would like from our country. The rest of the world does not have a civil right to move here. And just to make it extra crystal clear. Congress, both Democrats and Republicans, passed a law putting that power in the president's hands. It has been used many times before, both for good and ill. And then to have these judges come along on the Fourth and Ninth Circuit and say, no, I'm sorry, Donald Trump is mean, so he can't.
Right. Even though Obama could do it with Syria just like 2 or 3 years ago, and nobody said boo about it. Just like they're all been out of shape. They're been out of shape now that the press corps has been out of shape about the fact that Donald Trump and the Indian premier or prime minister are not going to take questions after their event today, even though Obama and the same guy didn't take questions and it wasn't a constitutional crisis like 2 years ago. You know, I mean, everything is totally different.
I wouldn't have cared if Obama had or hadn't. I think it's fantastic that Trump is cutting the press out of this. The White House correspondents, as I was tweeting about yesterday, or maybe it was the day before, I think this is a fantastic decision not to allow televised press briefings. These journalists are the laziest, whiniest, most disrespectful people in the universe. Their job consists of rolling into the next room, asking disrespectful, juvenile questions of Sean Spicer, then walking out onto the White House lawn and reporting their own question, having the anchor say, well, Spicer didn't really answer your question, did he? They're all trying to become heroes of the resistance in their questions to the White House press secretary. Why should this is Trump's house? It's Spicer's room. He doesn't have to allow any of these people to use his press briefings to try to become heroes to the left.
How about if Sean Spicer just said, Jim, it hasn't even been 2 weeks since the last fake tweet that you sent out saying that the president didn't go into the room with Scalise. I mean, from now on, when you send out a fake tweet, or in the case of your buddy, your colleague Tom Frank, a totally false story, where no one gets to ask a question from that organization for 2 weeks. How about that? How about that for a rule, Ann? You know?
I like that. I would go even farther. I would really say ever. I mean, it's one thing that I'm a little testy with our Emperor God for. On one hand, he talks about Washington Post, New York Times, and others being fake news, but he keeps giving interviews with them. Yeah. He keeps sending out Sean Spicer to answer their snippy questions. I would give interviews, not just for 2 weeks, forever, for the rest of your term, only to news organizations that will report things honestly and haven't lied about your administration, aren't trying to become stars of the resistance.
I just found something else in this decision today, and not only did they say don't try to pull the same kind of BS about saying that going to a nonprofit and saying you have that's your bona fide or your credible claim. How about this one? This is from Clarence Thomas. Litigation of the factual and legal issues that are likely to arise will presumably be directed to the two district courts whose initial orders, in this case, the court has now unanimously found sufficiently questionable to be stayed as to the vast majority of the people potentially affected. I mean, this is new. This is new ground, isn't it, Ann? I mean, just to be pointing the finger, before they've even done anything, saying, you're going to pull the same crap you've pulled before. And we know it's coming, and we ruled unanimously on this. Unanimously, that means Ruth Bader Ginsburg and Elena Kagan.
No, and there's a reason the left opposed Clarence Thomas so ferociously. They were not wrong. He's going to be trouble for them. But yeah, no, that's exactly. I mean, I do agree with the dissent. This is going to be a very difficult exception to administer, but hopefully we'll get one more quick decision, and they ought to just lay it out clearly. You have to be, immediate family of a citizen, or have a prior relationship with a recognized institution.
Right. And being an adjunct professor at the University of Hawaii doesn't cut it. Okay.
That's exactly what I was thinking. All these universities are going to start setting up phony professorships to bring in, all of Somalia.
Right, adjunct professor. I know. I used to be an adjunct professor, and I know what that means. I get a check for $1,000 for teaching a course. Adjunct professor. What a bunch of BS. Hey, and I got to run one other one by you here. I'm gonna, all the sob stories about how we can't deport all these people. It's finally finally reached critical mass. I think I'm going to do a column for the Herald on Wednesday. All these people are claiming all the reasons they can't be deported. Have you been following all these stories?
No, I have not.
I'm telling you this because you write a
Sounds
column
like
after.
Really fruitful area.
I'm just saying, I'm
going
to be. I have an earlier deadline than you, so you can't beat me to this. But feel free to do it the day after. A Seventh-day Adventist says he can't be deported because it's against his religion to separate him from his family. This is in Houston.
Looks like the whole family's going to have to go.
That was my feeling exactly. Another one. How dare you deport this young dreamer before his prom? I'm not making this up, Ann. I am not making this up. And then we have all these people. They've rounded up 200 Iraqis or thereabouts in Detroit, and they're criminals. But now they're not Iraqis anymore. They're Chaldeans. They're Christians.
Oh yeah.
And they sure, they say they're in organized crime, but they're Christians. So are the mafia, okay?
Excellent point.
So is the Mexican mafia, now that I think about it,
Excellent point.
Yeah, so they've got all these people, and they got this guy in Boston, this electrical contractor from Ireland. And he's an illegal alien, so he's doing electrical contracting work. And of course, if he's an illegal alien, he can't get the license. And without a license, he can't get a permit. So he's doing all this unlicensed electrical work. And then it turns out he's stiffed at least one customer. There was a warrant out for his arrest. And then he did a live interview with Irish TV saying, "Yeah, I'm an illegal alien. This is in prime time in Ireland." And then he gets busted, and the ICE picks him up, and he goes, "Why am I being picked up?" He's got a warrant out for his arrest. He's giving live interviews on Irish TV. Right. He's a criminal. He said time slips away. He's been in here illegally in the country for 18 years. If your inspection sticker is expired for 3 days, you don't get to say time slipped away. And the Boston Globe runs a story, and you'll love this. His name is John Cunningham. If John Cunningham isn't safe, no one is safe. Well, I'm safe. Are you safe, Ann? I don't have any outstanding.
Even safer.
I don't have any outstanding warrants for my arrest. Do you?
I do not. I do not, and I particularly would be careful not to have outstanding warrants for my arrest if I were living illegally in another country.
Right, and I wouldn't be giving any interviews in prime time to back to the country of my origin where I should be deported to. I mean, but there's just so many sob stories. I mean, you always knew this was coming, but it is kind of amusing now to see it coming in. I think the prom story may be the best, though. You can't deport me until after the prom.
Yeah, that's good for an education taxpayers have just funded. Probably free school lunch programs, too.
Yes, and now we have free lunch programs for everybody, even during the summer, too. You know that, right? Everybody gets the free. Yeah, they have to keep the school.
I did not, but that really perks me up.
Yeah. All right, Anna, I appreciate you being with us. Anything else you want to say before we move on here? I haven't been with you.
No, good to talk to you, Howie.
Good to talk to you, Ann. And what's the title of your latest book?
In Trump We Trust, E Pluribus Awesome.
All right, Ann. Talk to you next week or the week after, I guess. Thanks for checking in with us. That's Ann Coulter. This half hour of the Howie Carr Show is powered by Life Change Tea. Food today is full of chemicals, GMOs, herbicides, and pesticides. Cleanse your body of these nasty chemicals with Life Change Tea. You'll feel stronger and better, and your immune system will be stronger. Go to getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com. Steve uses it, so does the mailroom manager. I've tried it. It's delicious. Getthetea.com. I'm Howie Carr.
Don't move. Howie Carr is back. Next.
What the Yes on One campaign represents is people coming together and fighting back against the politicians that have failed them. Now I'm calling on the people to unite and take on an even greater fight. We have a senior senator that seems to be more interested in promoting herself than working for the people of Massachusetts. And if I decide to make this run for the United States Senate, I promise you this. You'll have somebody who will work every day, will not write a book, will be doing everything I can to make sure that I represent your interests. I listen to you. I take that down to Washington, D.C., and I don't crumble when Republicans or Democrats put pressure on me, because I haven't done it on Beacon Hill, and I promise I won't do it in Washington, D.C.
Go to Casper.com and use code Howie for $50 towards the purchase of your mattress. That's Casper.com, code Howie, and get $50 towards the purchase of your mattress. Casper.com, terms and conditions apply.
It's gonna be a Subaru summer. The feeling is coming on strong. All summer long.
The Subaru Summer All-Wheel Drive Away is going on now. Make the most of sweet summertime in a brand new Subaru Outback. Lease for just $249 per month for 36 months with $1749 due at signing. Or buy an Outback for only $25,645 with 0% financing for up to 48 months. Equipped with standard symmetrical all-wheel drive, the 2017 Outback has the power and traction to get you to and from your most ambitious summer adventures. This summer, drive away in a well-equipped Subaru Outback for only $25,645 with 0% financing. Or lease an Outback for just $249 a month. For complete details and a list of Subaru retailers, visit SubaruofNewEngland.com. Don't miss the Subaru Summer All-Wheel Drive Away.
We could play another commercial, or we could just play 60 seconds of Donald Trump. Yeah, let's do that.
In the center of the stage tonight, businessman Donald Trump.
I would never give up my microphone. I thought that was disgusting. That showed such weakness. The way he was taken away by two young women. The microphone, they just took the whole place over. That will never happen with me. I don't know if I'll do the fighting myself or if other people will. But that was a disgrace. The way I felt badly for him.
You're not supposed to say that somebody graduated last or second to last in their class, because you're supposed to be, like Frank says, very nice. Folks, I want to make America great again. We want to get down to brass tacks. We don't want to listen to his stuff with being politically correct and everything has... We have a lot of work to do.
This is the Howie Carr Show.
Hi, this is Andrea from Ever So Humble Pie Company in East Walpole. Well, it's that time of year when comfort food is king. And now, in addition to our delectable dessert pies, we're offering home-style classics like chicken pot pie, shepherd's pie, and Canadian meat pie. Simply turn on your oven and you'll have a wholesome, hearty meal. Pick up a fruit pie while you're here, and you've got dinner and dessert from Ever So Humble Pie Company. For more information, call us at 508-660-9731 or visit us at eversohumble.com. That's eversohumble.com.
It's here, Howie Carr's latest book, Kennedy Babylon, A Century of Depravity and Scandal. Kennedy Babylon is a whirlwind tour of scandals from the days of the Kennedy clan's rabidly anti-Semitic patriarch to the death of JFK Jr. Ann Coulter says Howie Carr is making Kennedy books great again. You'll love the never-before-seen images of the Kennedy family in Howie Carr's latest book, Kennedy Babylon, A Century of Depravity and Scandal. Now shipping. Order today at HowieCarrshow.com. Click Kennedy Babylon.
PatriotPrepared.com carries the leading brands of storable food from Numanna, Legacy, and Heaven's Harvest. Patriot Prepared. Our name says it all. We're dedicated to empowering you to be self-reliant and confident in any circumstance. Whether you want to be prepared in the event of an emergency or you're an outdoor sports enthusiast, PatriotPrepared.com has prepackaged meals and kits for your entire family. Legacy, Heaven's Harvest, and Numanna are known for high-quality, great-tasting, GMO-free, nutritious food with no chemical preservatives. Simple to prepare, easy to store, gluten-free and organic high-quality nutrition options with a 25-year shelf life. You can't beat the feeling of being food secure when you need it most. So go to PatriotPrepared.com right now to pick up your supply of high-quality storable food for your family, because it makes good sense to be prepared. That's PatriotPrepared.com.
Want more Howie Carr? Listen 24/7 online at HowieCarrShow.com. Now, back to Howie Carr.
Well, I was talking to Ann Coulter. Guess who I got an email from? The President of the United States. Howard, did you see this headline on Drudge? The headline says, Dems vow to push Russia through election. While Democrats vow to continue their phony witch hunt for another 3 years in a sad attempt to bring us down, we will continue to focus on the issues. That's in all caps, focus on the issues. And our simple but terrific message.
Haven't you told the president he can call you Howie?
I have. He just, it's kind of formal because then he asked me for some money. They got to raise $342,000 before the end of the fiscal year, the end of the quarter. I'll think about it, Donald. 844-500-4242. Michael, you're next with Howie Carr on the General Communications listener line. Go ahead, Michael.
Yeah, Howie, I heard today that they want to primary Heller in Nevada. I think they should primary all the Republicans next year and let the people pick who they want. I got one guy especially, this guy, Charlie Dent in Pennsylvania. I hate this guy.
Why?
He's always attacking Trump every chance he gets. And,
yeah, but who are you going to replace him with? You're going to replace him with somebody horrible, like some Philadelphia Democrat.
Well, not a Democrat. I'm talking about primary the guy.
Yeah.
You understand? Like, let the people pick the Republican they wanted. It's going to back Trump and not,
There's a story. There's a story today, Michael, that one of these groups that's down on Heller. Heller is the senator from Nevada who says he's not going to vote for the health care bill. And so one of these Trump groups that says they're going to, like Michael says, they're going to primary him. They rented an airplane to take a banner around blasting Heller. But you know what they made us. It's an anti-Trump. Okay, an anti-Trump group. So they made a small mistake, though, Michael. Did you hear about this?
No.
The plane was flying today over West Virginia, not Nevada.
That's the Democrats for you.
It's flyover country. What's the difference? As long as it's not on the coast, who cares? It's all the same, isn't it? Thanks, Michael. I appreciate it. This is what the anti-Trump people are up to. So now Adam Schiff. You remember that Comey said that he was queasy when Loretta Lynch told him to refer to the Hillary Clinton email not as an investigation but as a matter. So now Adam Schiff, another pajama boy, the pencil neck geek from suburban L.A., the congressman, he was asked about that on one of the talk shows yesterday. Here's his response.
Senator Dianne Feinstein was on this program recently, and she said that gave her a queasy feeling. The Senate Judiciary Committee is investigating this. Do you think that Loretta Lynch should come to Capitol Hill and testify about this?
I think Senator Feinstein's comment, I would agree with. It does give me a queasy feeling as well. There may be a perfectly accurate explanation by Loretta Lynch about why she thought matter was the appropriate term rather than investigation, so I wouldn't assume James Comey's characterization is the last word on it, even though I'm sure it's accurate.
I like the word accurate. I think there is a perfectly accurate explanation for why she did it. She was trying to cover up for Hillary Clinton. That's what she was trying to do. That's the accurate description of why she did it. The question is, will she admit that? I think not. I want to know about her grandchildren that she doesn't have. What did you say to Bill Clinton about your grandchildren that you don't have? I'm Howie Carr.
And now, 6 fun facts in 60 seconds with Grace Curley.
In 2006, an Australian man tried to sell New Zealand on eBay. The price rose to $3,000 before eBay shut it down. Reed Hastings was inspired to start Netflix after racking up a $40 late fee on a VHS copy of Apollo 13. In Japan, letting a sumo wrestler make your baby cry is considered good luck. The 50-star American flag was designed by an Ohio high school student for a class project. His teacher originally gave him a B-. According to the National Insurance Crime Bureau, the most commonly stolen vehicle in 2012 was the 1994 Honda Accord. The Arkansas School for the Deaf's nickname is the Leopards, the Deaf Leopards.
This has been 6 fun facts with Grace Curley in 60 seconds. Check out Grace's latest posts, pictures, and tweets at HowieCarrShow.com.
Hey there, quick question for you. Would you be okay with more energy, more endurance, thicker, healthier hair, a better mood, reduced appearance of wrinkles, improved sleep, improved blood pressure and cholesterol profiles, improved vision, improved memory? Okay then. Well now, have you heard of Nature's Youth RSF? It's from the anti-aging experts at nature'syouth.com. nature'syouth.com. See, at Nature's Youth, they understand exactly what it means to provide top quality health products. And Nature's Youth customers not only improve their health, they know they're also providing their body with the right nourishment to maintain that peak performance and fight the aging process. If health, wellness, and nutrition are what you desire, choose Nature's Youth RSF. I did. You see, you're going to get older. It's just up to you how you feel when you get there. Get started today. Nature's Youth RSF. Simple to use, simple to order. Go to nature'syouth.com. That's nature'syouth.com. nature'syouth.com.
The Howie Carr Show continues next. We could play another commercial, or we could just play 60 seconds of Donald Trump. Yeah, let's do that.
And then the market crashed in the 90s. So I had trouble, but it was sort of an amazing, I wouldn't want to do it again. It was an amazing test of yourself. Can you handle pressure? How are you under pressure? Are you smart? You know, when everybody's coming at you. Sometimes in life to be successful, oftentimes, most of the time, you have to follow your instincts. You have to follow your gut. You have to. Your parents may say wrong. Your whoever may say wrong, but you have to do it.
Donald J. Trump is calling for a total and complete shutdown of Muslims entering the United States until our country's representatives can figure out what the hell is going on.
This is the Howie Carr Show.
Hey there, quick question for you. Would you be okay with more energy, more endurance, thicker, healthier hair, a better mood, reduced appearance of wrinkles, improved sleep, improved blood pressure and cholesterol profiles, improved vision, improved memory? Okay then. Well now, have you heard of Nature's Youth RSF? It's from the anti-aging experts at nature'syouth.com. nature'syouth.com. See, at Nature's Youth, they understand exactly what it means to provide top quality health products. And Nature's Youth customers not only improve their health, they know they're also providing their body with the right nourishment to maintain that peak performance and fight the aging process. If health, wellness, and nutrition are what you desire, choose Nature's Youth RSF. I did. You see, you're going to get older. It's just up to you how you feel when you get there. Get started today. Nature's Youth RSF. Simple to use, simple to order. Go to nature'syouth.com. That's nature'syouth.com. nature'syouth.com.
And now, 6 fun facts in 60 seconds with Grace Curley.
A hummingbird weighs less than a penny. The founders of Google were willing to sell Google for $1 million to Excite in 1999, but Excite turned them down. Google is now worth $527 billion. On average, 12 newborns will be given to the wrong parents daily. There are no clocks in Las Vegas gambling casinos. Sea otters hold hands while they sleep so they won't drift apart. Aww. Do you ever wonder where the phrase, "it's raining cats and dogs" comes from? In the 17th century, many homeless cats and dogs would drown and float down the streets of England, making it look like it literally rained cats and dogs.
This has been 6 fun facts with Grace Curley in 60 seconds. Check out Grace's latest posts, pictures, and tweets at HowieCarrShow.com.
Would odors, mold, and mildew describe your basement or crawl space? It doesn't have to be that way. Transform them into a fresh, healthy, usable one with the technologically advanced Wave Moisture Control Units. The computerized operation maximizes moisture control and also expels harmful radon, combustion gases, and numerous other pollutants. Dehumidifiers are old technology that do nothing for air quality and waste energy. Wave units are intelligent, self-monitoring, do not need maintenance, and will save you hundreds in electricity. Wave units are still running effectively effectively over 15 years. They've been tested and installed in public and military housing and by property managers nationwide. Buy a unit now, and if your home is not fresher and drier, you can return it for a full refund for up to 12 months. What have you got to lose? Call now. 1-888-618-WAVE. 1-888-618-WAVE. Or visit mydryhome.com. That's mydryhome.com.
Wave Home Solutions for a healthy, comfortable home.
And now, 6 fun facts in 60 seconds with Grace Curley.
In 1999, the U.S. government paid the Zapruder family $16 million for the film of JFK's assassination. How many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop? The world may never know, but on average, a licking machine made at Purdue needed 364. Famed ice cream makers Ben and Jerry originally considered getting into the bagel business, but the equipment was too expensive. In 1980, Detroit presented Saddam Hussein with a key to the city. In 1986, iPhone maker Apple launched a clothing line. Between 1900 and 1920, tug of war was an Olympic event.
This has been 6 fun facts with Grace Curley in 60 seconds. Check out Grace's latest posts, pictures, and tweets at HowieCarrShow.com.
Many legislators claim to be for lower taxes and government transparency, but are they really? Massachusetts Fiscal Alliance keeps you informed by posting the voting records of our elected officials. You can log on to our website at massfiscal.org. Click Scorecard to see how your legislator is voting on Beacon Hill. And while you're there, make a donation. And be sure to join our email list so you can stay up to date with the latest information on what's happening at the State House with Massachusetts Fiscal Alliance.
Paid for by the Mass Fiscal Alliance, Rick Green, Chairman.
Hi, I'm Howie Carr, and I'm here with Rick Green of the Mass Fiscal Alliance. Wow, Mass Fiscal is really driving the Moonbats crazy.
Who knew putting voting records online would be so controversial? Many legislators claim to be for lower taxes and government transparency, but they sure don't vote that way.
Your group is just what this state needs. How can the listeners help you guys?
Just have them visit our website at www.massfiscal.org.
Better strap yourself in. It's time for the Howie Carr Show.
What would a daily infomercial for the Trump presidency look like? Well, actually, we don't have to wonder. We have the answer right in front of us. It's called Fox and Friends.
CNN very wrongly tied a Trump transition team member to Russia. There's a new rule at the network. You got to get permission from the bosses before putting out any story about Russia.
The restrictions come after CNN had to retract a story connecting Anthony Scaramucci, a prominent ally of President Trump, to a Russian investment fund managed by a Kremlin-controlled bank.
Very fake news.
Live from an undisclosed location.
Paul Ryan has been dreaming about cutting this program since he was hanging out at Keggers in college. He's told that story.
What kind of a man is he?
What kind of a monster is he? Who dreams of cutting Medicaid?
Unchained and unstoppable.
Why is the president going back on his promise?
These are not cuts to Medicaid, George. This slows the rate for the future, and it allows governors more flexibility with Medicaid dollars because they're closest to the people in need.
This 125 million people as of today will be as high as 140 million by 2020. And in 2020, they're going to be looking for somebody to give them medication and health care. And what this bill does is sends them all to death.
Who's your captain? Howie Carr.
How do you change the view that the Democrats are just simply limousine Democrats, that the party is in the hands of Wall Street?
We got to stop riding in limousines.
Well, that's anything, right? But there's a presumption.
Rump swabs, hacks, and moonbats beware. It's Howie Carr.
844-500-4242. That is the toll-free number of the Howie Carr Show, and it's also the number to use if you would like to leave a recorded voicemail message on the Chump line, as we call our voicemail message service. Press 2 for the Chump line when you get through, and leave your message. We may or may not play your message at this time each weekday. The Chump line is brought to you every weekday at this time by Matthews Brothers, whose Maine-made windows are available only through better lumber yards and window professionals like Arlington Coal and Lumber for nearly 100 years and 4 generations. Builders and contractors have relied on our family for all their construction needs. Arlington Coal and Lumber, located on Park Avenue in Arlington, or on the web at arlcoal.com.
How many more, Mr. Speaker? How many more rulings by the 4th and 9th District Courts be overturned before we start firing biased liberal judges? How many more, Mr. Speaker?
Yeah, if only it were that simple to fire them. You know, they have to be impeached. And after they're impeached, then you have a trial in the United States Senate. And it happens about once a generation. You get rid of one of these judges, like Alcee Hastings in Florida. And then he was immediately, once he was convicted in the Senate and thrown off the bench in Florida, he was immediately elected to the U.S. House of Representatives, where he has remained ever since, agitating for higher pay for members of Congress. That's his.
Hey,
that's
it's a
his
dirty
claim
job,
to
but
fame.
somebody's going to do it, Howie.
Yeah. Apparently, he didn't want to go back to being a lawyer. He just wanted to stay at the federal trough, and sure enough, he has.
Howie, this new decision by the Supreme Court, if it holds up, is this considered settled law?
You know, that is a really good point. Apparently, it's not considered settled law since Judge Justice Thomas specifically went out of his way to point out, to say that the liberals are going to be back trying to scam it and get around it, and they're going to be going back before the same nuts in San Francisco and Richmond, Virginia, where they got the law, the settled law of the 1952 Immigration and Naturalization Act overturned basically by a judicial coup.
Howie, I figured out why the Democrats lose when it rains. The nasty women melt like the Wicked Witch of the West.
I'd forgotten about the Wicked Witch of the West.
The left has created a very devious plan to hamstring Trump for his entire 4-year span. What they don't need is for him to succeed and have their party become a perennial also-ran.
Not bad, Limerick guy.
Howie, the only thing right now I care about the Trump travel ban is, did Maura Healey go off the deep end when she heard the decision from the Supreme Court?
There was even a story in the Boston Globe last week, of all places, saying Maura Healey nowadays spends most of her time fighting Trump. This is the Attorney General of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts.
Hold it.
Who said if you have a problem with the transgender bathrooms and you're a woman and you're worried about being attacked by a male sex offender who claims to be a woman, because it's now legal. It's now legal. She said, just hold it.
Hold it.
Nice, huh? You'd think she'd have more regard for her fellow females.
Oh my God, Howie's in on a Monday. That's another one of those signs of the end times.
I was off for a couple of Mondays because I was working on the weekends selling my book, Kennedy Babylon, on the run-up to Father's Day. Now Father's Day is past, and I'm back working Mondays because I'm not doing book signings and shows on the weekends. But you can still order my book at HowieCarrShow.com. Click on Kennedy Babylon. You can go to Amazon, or you can buy it at our great independent booksellers and our hospital gift shops in the area that sell it. I'll read the list later in the day.
I see you drinking coffee again. Is it like you? Bold and bitter?
No, it's delicious. Thank you for mentioning this. It's delicious 5-0 coffee. And it's made by some police officers in the area. Do we still have any left on our deals? Or I don't know. I don't know if we have any left or not. We had it for half price. Go to HowieCarrShow.com, click on deals, and see if we have any more 5-0 coffee left. Holding up the cup now, and it's great stuff. The finest coffee for America's finest.
I know we still have some in the kitchen, so that's what I'm more focused on right now.
It is delicious. Thanks for mentioning it.
Howie Carr, Bill Belichick here. I hear you have a big shoe, a black toe, and can split the uprights with a plug from 60 yards out. Give me a call for a tryout. But one thing, son, lose the attitude.
None of that is true. Nothing is true.
Very fake news.
Very fake news. No, the black toe is gone. I told you I'm taking prescription medication to do away with the black toe. Never had a big shoe, and I never have kicked the pugs through the upright.
Well, not through the uprights, through your glass door out onto your patio. Yes.
But I would be glad to try out for the team, though. See how I can do.
See if Koo's agility and skill on the basketball court translates to the gridiron.
That's right. I'm not saying I could be a linebacker. I just want to try out.
You're just a wide receiver. You got like Edelman moves, right?
No, I just want to try out as the kicker. Place kicker.
Hey kids, do you love Honest Howie's carbon credits? Then you're gonna love Honest Comey's Russian dossiers. For only $50,000 cash, Honest Comey will obtain the most outrageous lies possible from the DNC, then provide them to the fake news media. John McCain's satisfaction guaranteed. Honest Bob Mueller's special prosecution is not included.
That story was peddled to all the fake news outlets in D.C. all through the course of the campaign, and then after Donald Trump's election. Nobody would bite. It was so obviously, flagrantly bogus. If you've ever met Donald Trump, you would know the odds of him hiring multiple hookers to pee on the bed next to him. I mean, no one would do that, but especially a guy who's germophobic. BuzzFeed and CNN went for it. Now BuzzFeed's office has been invaded by bed bugs. There is a God. There is karma.
Jesus, Howie, you're stuffing your face like a chipmunk. Slow down, man.
I'm hungry. I went and got some fortune cookies from Kowloon. That's all. I just was a little on the hungry side today. That's all it's about. I'm fine now. I'm done. Let's turn off the Howie Cam. I'm tired of the Howie Cam. I can't bring in a bottle of water without everybody checking it out. I can't have a couple of fortune cookies or some Cheez-Its without people commenting on it.
This is the life of a star, Howie.
You can't just say turn the Howie Cam off. There'll be a mutiny.
A mute? How many people are watching?
Grace is going to mutiny because she likes being on the camera.
How many people actually watch the Howie Cam? We're not on Newsmax right now.
Hundreds of thousands.
Hundreds of thousands. Okay. Well, then I better mention again, Kennedy Babylon, HowieCarShow.com. Click on Kennedy Babylon or order it at Amazon.com or get it at one of our great retail independent bookstores. And you can get the whole list at HowieCarShow.com. Click on Kennedy Babylon and then click on Kennedy Babylon Retailers.
Hi, Howie. Governor Patrick calling. After taking Mondays off for the past month, I was worried Charlie Baker had given you a judgeship. But it looks like you're working a full week now with no pay raise and no pension. Welcome back to the dreaded private sector, big guy. We're going to be fine.
Did you see my column yesterday about the 4 pay raises that the judges have gotten? They're the shield for the legislative pay raise. As long as the legislative hack pay raise is attached to the judges' pay raise, we, the voters, can't repeal it in a referendum question. So they've given them 4 pay raises. $6,250 on January 1, $6,250 on, what is it, Saturday, whatever July 1st is, another $6,250 on January 1st, 2018, and then another $66,250 on July 1st, 2018. And oh, by the way, the salary of the Register of Probate in Suffolk County is attached to the judge's pay raise. He gets 82%. You know who the Register of Probate is in Suffolk County, Steve? Felix Arroyo Sr., former Boston City Councilor. He was suspended for running a crappy office, dereliction of duty, in November. He's got a 1 pay raise already, suspended with pay. He's going to get another one on Saturday, and he says he's a victim of racism. I could go for some of that racism, huh? How about you? You're at home, not doing anything, and you're getting a $6,250 pay raise every or $5,000 in his case, $5,200 every 6 months. Life is muy bien for Felix Arroyo.
Howie 617 says, "Turn off the camera. Who do you think you are, Sean Spicer?"
You know what? I am Sean Spicer. I don't need any grief from any Jim Acostas here in the studio giving me grief about it.
Wow, isn't it something? They're all bummed out about grizzly bear population control, but they're quite okay with human population control. Gee.
All these stories that, the networks don't report on. I mean, you would think that they would do something. That the grizzly bear... Now, tonight, some good news on the NBC Nightly News. The grizzly bear population is up, and then you have some pictures of grizzlies chasing people around in Yellowstone Park or Yosemite Park, National Park, one of those places. But no, it's a terrible thing. The Sierra Club and all the rest of them are all bent out of shape that the population has come back. You know why? Because Donald Trump ordered them off the endangered species list.
That was your last chump line message. Thank you for calling Howie Carr, you chump.
All right, that's it for the chump line today. The chump line is the recorded voicemail message service of the Howie Carr Show. You can call and leave a message at any hour of the day or night, including weekends. The chump line number, if you'd like to leave such a message, is 844-500-4242. We may or may not play your message at this time each weekday. The Chump Line is brought to you by Matthews Brothers, whose Maine-made windows are available only through better lumber yards and window professionals like Arlington Coal and Lumber. For nearly 100 years and 4 generations, builders and contractors have relied on our family for all their construction needs. Arlington Coal and Lumber, located on Park Avenue in Arlington, or on the web at arlcoal.com.
Howie, this new decision by the Supreme Court, if it holds up, is this considered settled law?
It didn't go their way, so obviously it's not settled law. They're going to appeal it to the World Court in Europe. I'm Howie Carr.
The Howie Carr Show.
I received... What the Yes on One campaign represents is people coming together and fighting back against the politicians that have failed them. Now I'm calling on the people to unite and take on an even greater fight. We have a senior senator that seems to be more interested in promoting herself than working for the people of Massachusetts. And if I decide to make this run for the United States Senate, I promise you this. You'll have somebody who will work every day, will not write a book, will be doing everything I can to make sure that I represent your interests. I listen to you. I take that down to Washington, D.C., and I don't crumble when Republicans or Democrats put pressure on me, because I haven't done it on Beacon Hill, and I promise I won't do it in Washington, D.C.
And, of course, the ever-loving dollar. Supplementing our diets can be very important to stay healthy. Cleansing from daily intruders to the body might be critical. Live strong and take charge. Log on to GetTheTea.com. Our herbal tea is a great way to cleanse from intruders. Our supplements is a great way to maintain and improve your health. When your health is not up to par, go to GetTheTea.com. No GMOs, no fillers, and organic. And very helpful in keeping you at the top of your game. Life is too short to feel, you know what I mean. Stay in the game, at the top of your game with GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com. Again, GetTheTea.com.
Hey, listen up. This is the most important 30 seconds of your day. More than 50,000 veterans are homeless right now. Brave men and women who served our country are sleeping on the streets. Luckily, there's one New England organization who is giving these vets a second chance. Welcome to the DV Farm, operated by vets for vets. The DV Farm in southwestern New Hampshire provides housing for homeless veterans and the rehab and support they need to reintegrate back into civilian life. Learn more and find out how you can support the DV Farm at dvfarm.org. That's dvfarm.org. We could play another commercial, or we could just play 60 seconds of Donald Trump. Yeah, let's do that.
And by the way, they're coming from all over the world, including the Middle East. Why not? Come on in. We're stupid, we'll take care of you. We'll pay. Get sick, we'll take care of your hospitalization. What kind of a plan do you want? Oh, Don, you're a little controversial. You're talking about illegal immigration. I said it's illegal. The premiums are going through the roof. The deductibles, frankly, you have to get hit with a Komatsu tractor in order to use them. They're so high. The Iranians are great negotiators. The Persians are great negotiators. And we have people that are babies. It's like a chess player, grandmaster, playing against a checkers child. We have very stupid people in our country negotiating for us, and we have leaders that don't know what they're doing. And the media, look at all those people back there. Scavengers, they're like scavengers.
This is the Howie Carr Show.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I'm telling you right now, it's awesome. I was trying to get my blood pressure regulated, okay? And like after 3 days of taking this thing, my blood pressure went back down to normal. I am ecstatic. I am so happy with this stuff. It is my savior.
This was the first summer that I have not had to have a steroid shot to help me to breathe.
The reason why I'm taking it because I've got Hep C. Once I began taking your stuff, it took a few months, but believe it or not, my liver enzymes are way down and it's normal now. It works.
The new challenge will allow you to receive 2 months of Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies free. And we'll even ship them to you free. Call now for details. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code TALK.
It's the most effective product that I've ever bought in my life, but I should have ordered it like 15 years ago.
Hi, this is Howie Carr, attorney at law. Are you a white male who voted for Donald Trump? Do you have a Make America Great sweatshirt or a hat? Have you had a beer since November the 8th? If you answered yes to one or more of the above questions, there's a good chance that you are soon going to be charged with committing a fake hate crime. Will you be ready, you uneducated redneck? When you get charged with committing a fake hate crime, will you be ready? You need reasonable doubt at a reasonable price. And that's where Howie Carr, attorney at law, Esquire, comes in. Call me at 1-800-FAKE-HRC. 1-800-FAKE-HRC. And we will get you some legal insurance for when it inevitably occurs and you're charged with a fake hate crime.
You've listened to him for years. Now watch him in HD. Click on the Howie Cam at HowieCarrShow.com. This is the Howie Carr Show.
Today's poll question is brought to you by Casper. Get a Casper mattress and sleep cool and comfortable every night. It's a higher quality mattress at a more affordable price. Test it yourself for 100 nights risk-free. Use code Howie at Casper.com for $50 towards the purchase of your mattress. Terms and conditions apply. Steve, what is the poll question? What are the results thus far?
Do you care whether the White House allows a live video feed at press briefings?
No. As a matter of fact, I'm happy they're not. So,
91% say no. Maybe tomorrow we need to poll, do you care whether Howie gets a live feed of his water?
Hey, I'm very happy about my live feed. I've decided I'm happy. I'm going to bring in those Cheez-Its and those fortune cookies. Maybe we can get some new sponsors. You're
just going to embrace it?
I'm going to embrace it. Maybe, like I said, maybe we can get some more sponsors on this thing. All right. So the governor of Massachusetts, the Rhino governor of Massachusetts, has nominated an appeals court judge, one of his neighbors up in Swampscott, for the opening on the SJC. Judge Kafker. You remember Judge Kafker? He's the one whose son was doing the
vandalism.
Yeah, the fake hate crimes at Northwestern with some student named Morales. They went into a chapel and they spray painted homophobic and racist slurs all over the chapel, and then put Trump underneath to blame Trump. Yeah, now he's been appointed to the Supreme Court. Oddly, that was not mentioned in the press release. His son's arrest at Northeastern.
Has Maura Healey issued a statement?
Is that part of it? Yeah. Can we? I'm gonna leave a message on the hate crime hotline that someone who has a close family member who committed a hate crime has just been appointed to a judgeship, and I'm rather shocked by what's happened. New Orleans police hunt suspects in brutal beating of tourists in French Quarter. Surveillance video released by the police late last night shows the victims attacked by 4 black males who beat them, stole their wallets and cell phones, and then fled. One of them is in critical condition in the hospital. It was only a block from Canal Street, so it wasn't exactly in a secluded part of town. They're from Boston. The 2 men who were assaulted by the muggers. According to a New Orleans TV station, the tourists were in the Big Easy for the General Assembly of the Unitarian Universalist Association, the annual meeting of the Liberal Religious Association. They were sucker punched. These thugs ran up behind them and attacked them and knocked them to the ground, and then two more thugs ran up and grabbed their wallets.
So this is being invested as a hate crime against the UUs, right?
I'm wondering. I mean, they attacked liberals. I mean, these people weren't conservatives. These are Unitarian Universalists who were attacked by the people they were trying to help. It's very. I hope they recover. I'm Howie Carr.
We could play another commercial, or we could just play 60 seconds of Donald Trump. Yeah, let's do that.
How do you spend $1 million doing the soccer field? You have a level piece of land. Throw them a ball, let them play soccer if they have to play it all. We don't want to listen to his stuff with being politically correct and everything has to. We have a lot of work to do. 10 years ago, everybody wanted the wall. The Democrats, the Republicans, they couldn't get it. You know one of the reasons they couldn't get it? Environmental impact statements. Did you know that? There were toads. It's the most incredible thing. Number one, I wouldn't even think about anything until I built a wall impenetrable. There will be nobody coming into this country illegally. But our people don't have a clue. We give state dinners to the heads of China. I say, why are you doing state dinners for them? They're ripping us left and right. Just take them to McDonald's and go back to the negotiating table. Seriously.
This is the Howie Carr Show.
Hey guys, it's Grace from the Howie Carr Show. Gifts are always great, but who really needs more stuff? Let's be honest, between Christmas and the New Year, it's hard to come up with a nice way to give a great gift without just regifting that old fruitcake. But luckily, we have the perfect gift idea for you. It's the Howie Carr Show VIP experience. If someone you know is a fan of Howard Lauren's car, then this is the perfect way to celebrate any occasion. Come visit Howie in our brand new studio and watch the entire show. Best part? Well, if you were to ask Howie, he'd probably say the Kowloon. And I can't really disagree. But there is also no other way to see all the behind-the-scenes work that goes into New England's favorite radio show. Get your picture with Howie and a selfie with yours truly. We've had over 100 people enjoy the VIP experience, and the reviews have been stellar. We've even had the occasional guest on air to tell their own funny story to the listeners. So don't delay and buy your VIP experience today at HowieCarShow.com. Click store. HowieCarShow.com. Click store.
Hi, folks. In a world of GMO, genetically modified organisms, that is, chemicals, processed foods, and a healthcare system that's unraveling like a cheap suit, it's time to prepare. God created herbs, and herbs help man. Our body can heal itself, just sometimes we need assistance. You need some help? GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com. Our mild detox is quite powerful with its unique blend of 8 different herbs. And if you're looking for more, our non-GMO supplements will help you with different needs you might have. Health should be a top priority. Take care of your health naturally. Log on to GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com. Give your body a treat. Let the herbs do their thing naturally. Read all the testimonies on the website, GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com. Sickness and viruses are like intruders, and herbs are like warriors. Let the tea work for you. That's GetTheTea.com.
We could play another commercial, or we could just play 60 seconds of Donald Trump. Yeah, let's do that.
And the poll just came out, and I'm tied with Jeb Bush. And I said, oh, that's too bad. How can I be tied with this guy? He's terrible. He's terrible. So Uma is getting classified secrets. She's married to Anthony Weiner, who's a perv. No, he is.
I beat the people from China. I win against China. You can win against China if you're smart. But our people don't have a clue.
And then the next day, he'll be called by special interests that supported him, his lobbyists who push him around like a piece of candy.
We have heads being chopped off because they're Christian in the Middle East. We have borders where people are being killed all over. The world is cracking up, and they're worried about my tone.
This is the Howie Carr Show. Send Howie a text to 680-680. This is the Howie Carr Show.
One 844-500-4242. That is the toll-free number of the Howie Carr Show. And as you know, there's a lot of different dueling statistics, you might say, about the healthcare repeal and reform plans. The Senate has one now, or is about to have one, or is they going to have a vote? Maybe have a vote on it when they get the votes. The House has already passed one, and we're going to talk with Dr. Peter Warner about this in just a moment. But this half hour of the Howie Carr Show is powered by the Car Guys. Purchasing a pre-owned car can be tricky, but not if you go through Bill Papa George. He is the absolute best in the business. Both Grace and I use the Car Guys, and we are so happy that we did. Call 800-300-4600. That's 800-300-4600. And there's a good editorial about this in the Investors Business Daily today, or a couple of days ago. Despite what you've heard, the Senate bill doesn't slash, gut, or even cut Medicaid. This is an old story with the liberals. They're always talking, when they slow the rate of increase, they call it a cut. And they always say we can't. And they always say we can't afford to cut it. We can't. What do you mean we can't? We can't afford to pay for it, for starters, and we're not even cutting it. Shreds, guts, slashes, eviscerates, imperils. Look at any story about the Senate health bill, and you'll see words like those to describe its supposed cuts to Medicaid. What if we told you there are no such cuts? We would not be surprised. All right, joining us now on the line is Dr. Peter Warner from Wellesley. He's a neurologist, and he is the author of the new book, The Art of American Healthcare. It's a great read on a very complicated subject, which is American healthcare, and you can order it at Amazon.com. Dr. Peter Warner, Warriner. Look for it on Amazon. Dr. Warner, there's a lot of scare stories out there in the press. The Democrats are dueling with each other. I think Bernie Sanders say tens of thousands of people will die, and then Nancy Pelosi ups him like she's in a poker game and says hundreds of thousands of people will die. What's the truth?
Well, let's forget about the doom and gloom, Howie. I think it's a false premise that having a health care policy, especially one heavily regulated by the government, is the same thing as having access to health care. Nobody will lose access to health care. Let's put this into perspective. First of all, time is of the essence. Because this is the time of year that health insurance companies are formulating their policies for next year. So if the government doesn't act now to reform healthcare, and I choose that word carefully because this is not a repeal of Obamacare. This is not a replacement of Obamacare. The Better Care Reconciliation Act of 2017 is an attempt at reforming healthcare through the reconciliation process. And it has to be done now, and I think it will pass with some maybe a few tweaks from some more senators. In its current form, it probably will not pass, but if they tweak it a little bit, it will pass the Senate and it'll go over to the House. And especially if they move it closer to the House version, which was called the American Health Care Act, then it will pass the House as well, and President Trump will sign it. I think it must occur. I can go into some more details.
Well, you know, the thing is, let me bounce a couple of things off you. Now, today, they're going to, you know, rather than talk about the Supreme Court decision on the travel ban, MSNBC and CNN tonight will be talking about the CBO. The Congressional Budget Office says 23 million Americans are going to lose their health care coverage. But, I mean, there's another bogus number, totally, isn't it? I mean, I've got a statement by Avik Roy, who's a big healthcare policy scholar, and he says this means that of the 23 million who will quote unquote lose coverage under the House bill, about 18 million of them are solely due to the fact that the individual mandate will be repealed, and that they therefore will choose not to buy health insurance. Last time I checked, Dr. Warner, we're in a free country. It should have been their choice all along whether or not they were going to buy health insurance, correct? I mean, who are we to say it's a bad thing?
I agree with you. The CBO analysis is absolutely meaningless, and we should forget about it and discard whatever information they give us, because you're right. The people who will, quote unquote, lose healthcare policy coverage for the most part are people who didn't want it in the first place, and for all of the rest of them, pretty much everybody who loses coverage with the withdrawal of the mandates is probably going to have access to health care at a lower cost on an annualized basis than they would under Obamacare, which actually drove costs up because people would have to pay for the policies, then they would have to pay their deductibles before they would actually start to get health care coverage. So if you eliminate the cost of the policy and you eliminate the cost of the co-pays and the other expenses that go along with having insurance, and they just had to pay direct out of pocket, it's actually going to be less.
Yeah, and another fact is that I think 5 million, according to Avik Roy, that are listed in this CBO report that are going to lose their health care. These are people who were eligible for Medicaid under any of the tweaks or any under the old current system that we have. So these are 5 million people who are so unconcerned that they can't be bothered to sign up for free health care. I mean, how is that my problem or your problem or the listener's problem, Doctor?
You're absolutely right about that. So those people who might lose it under Obamacare will regain it under Medicaid or the various products offered by the states, for example, Mass Health in Massachusetts. So no one's going to lose coverage that would have otherwise been able to have it under Obamacare if they wanted it. So this CBO analysis is absolutely meaningless. Nobody should be, pointing at that, for leverage to gain some important perspective on this. I want to break down Obamacare into three major buckets. Number one, it covers taxes and financial mandates. Number two, it covers regulations and mandates on doctors, hospitals, and insurance companies. Number three, it basically represents federal entitlements for individuals, insurance companies, and states. And what does the Better Care Reconciliation Act of 2017 affect? Number one, it does address and eliminate a lot of the taxes and financial mandates, not just for the wealthy, for everybody, especially small businesses and individuals who really need the tax breaks.
Probably are tanning salons covered? I mean, there's something that it's not like Warren Buffett's going to the tanning salon every day, but that's covered under that. That's an Obamacare tax, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the government shouldn't be deciding what private healthcare insurance companies cover in their policies. There should be a free market to decide that. I believe, and most of us will agree, that the government should be there on a federal or state, probably more so on a state level, to cover those who are truly poor and indigent and elderly who just can't quite cover things for themselves, either for financial or mental health or dementia or abject poverty reasons, or medical situations that are just so far out of control. Yeah, there should be a safety net for those people, but for the vast majority of the rest of the Americans, there should be a free market. I think we all agree on that. The second component, the second bucket I was talking about, the regulations, and very unfortunately, at this point, I believe due to the reconciliation process, none of the regulations imposed on doctors and hospitals are going to be withdrawn. And that really needs to be addressed at some future date. So, the story is not ending with the passage of the Better Care Reconciliation Act. It's a beginning. It's a first step in the right direction.
Yeah, we've
And then
talked
the
about that in the
federal
past.
entitlements.
We've talked about that in the past, Doctor, just in case people are new listeners. I mean, things like, compelling doctors in many cases to write prescriptions for generic drugs, even though, you're an expert on prescription drugs, and some of the generics aren't as good as the brand names. I mean, it's not just a cost thing, and yet the government orders physicians to write for the cheaper prescriptions, right?
Oh, it's even worse than that. So they want me, if I prescribe a particular branded medication, which I know is going to be better for my patient because of my experience and my personal relationship with that patient. Not only do they want me to write the generic version, but they want me to write the generic version of a different drug that may or may not be in the same class. But that's how far it goes. They want me to actually prescribe a different medication and the generic of that different medication.
We're from the government, and we're here to help you.
That's just a small example.
We're talking to Dr. Peter Warner, Warinner, from CNS Multi-Specialty Clinic in Wellesley. You can find him online at cns.med, and he's also the author of The Art of American Healthcare, and you can order that on Amazon.com. That's a great book. It's got a lot of great reviews. So tell us how you think this is going to play out. I mean, they're 5 votes short right now in the Senate, and then if they get the votes in the Senate, then you have the 2 competing versions of the Obamacare replacement, repeal, whatever you want to call it, tweaking, and they have to battle it out in a conference committee to decide which of the best parts of the reform are kept. How do you think it's going to play out? How long is this going to take, Dr. Warner?
Well, my prediction is that it's going to move quickly, I would imagine within a matter of weeks, if possible, and that it will be tweaked a little bit and it will pass because it has to, for so many reasons. It just has to be done, and it has to be done in the near future. I would also say that the one to watch, the person to watch, is Senator Rand Paul. His comments, I think, are going to be the most meaningful. He's a medical doctor. He truly understands these matters. And I think whatever he has to say is going to be the most meaningful comments to listen to.
I saw a story today, Dr. Warner. The reason it is so imperative to do something is that there are now predictions that if nothing is done, 41% of the counties in the United States of America will only have one health care plan in the upcoming fiscal year. 41%. I mean, I don't know what percentage of the population that is, but this is a major problem. What do you think of some conservatives are saying, Donald Trump was right on the campaign trail. Republicans just ought to let the thing collapse of its own accord and then just blame it on the Democrats and point fingers. What do you think of that as a suggestion?
Well, that will create a crisis, and then we won't let that crisis go to waste, as they say. And then we would probably have a better position to completely repeal Obamacare and start from scratch in terms of meaningful health care reform. But let me tell you something. I was recently down in Washington a few weeks back meeting with congressional and senatorial offices. And I believe the behind-the-scenes story is that, believe it or not, the Democrats themselves want this to pass. In spite of what they're saying in front of the cameras, and all the inflammatory rhetoric that they're using against Republicans, the fact is they also want this to succeed because they don't want to be blamed for the disasters that is about to come if we don't do anything.
Thanks, Dr. Peter Warner from CNS Multi-Specialty Clinic in Wellesley. You can find him online at cns.med, and you can also check out his book on Amazon.com. It's called The Art of American Healthcare, The Art of American Healthcare. Thank you very much, Dr. Warner. We'll talk to you soon. I'm Howie Carr.
The Howie Carr Show continues next.
Grace here with the question.
What the Yes on One campaign represents is people coming together and fighting back against the politicians that have failed them. Now I'm calling on the people to unite and take on an even greater fight. We have a senior senator that seems to be more interested in promoting herself than working for the people of Massachusetts. And if I decide to make this run for the United States Senate, I promise you this. You'll have somebody who will work every day, will not write a book, will be doing everything I can to make sure that I represent your interests. I listen to you. I take that down to Washington, D.C., and I don't crumble when Republicans or Democrats put pressure on me, because I haven't done it on Beacon Hill, and I promise I won't do it in Washington, D.C.
They have a knowledgeable and friendly staff. They have a great selection and a no-pressure atmosphere. At Cold Springs RV, you will find hundreds of new and pre-owned RVs on their lot where you can freely browse. Located on Route 114 in Ware, New Hampshire. Or check out the inventory online at coldspringsrv.com.
I need your help to defeat Elizabeth Warren. My name is Jeff Deal, a father, husband, concerned taxpayer, and a state representative who led the successful effort to repeal automatic gas tax hikes, saving you $2 billion. Elizabeth Warren has spent her time in Washington building a multi-million-dollar war chest. Her focus? Winning the next election and selling books. It's time to send a senator to D.C. whose focus is on you and your family. If you want to defeat Elizabeth Warren, then go to Deal for Senate. That's DIEHL for Senate.com to make a donation. With your help, we'll make Massachusetts great again by defeating Warren and putting your interests ahead of the Washington elite. I'm Jeff Deal, and I approve this message. Paid for and authorized by Deal for U.S. Senate.
Does your business need new apparel for your staff? Do what I did. Call Tax Free Tees.
If you're looking for custom t-shirts and apparel, call the experts at Tax Free Tees. They print all the t-shirts for the Howie Carr store, and there's a reason why. Tax Free Tees has the fastest turnaround, and there are no setup or design fees. And Tax Free Tees has low minimums. You don't need to order 100 shirts. If you need custom t-shirts, sweatshirts, hats, or apparel of any kind, do what Howie did. Call Tax Free Tees or visit them online at dowhathowiedid.com. That's dowhathowiedid.com.
Dowhathowiedid.com. Dowhathowiedid.com.
We could play another commercial, or we could just play 60 seconds of Donald Trump. Yeah, let's do that.
It's great to be here with 1,000 wonderful people, or as I call it, a small, intimate dinner with some friends. Or as Hillary calls it, her largest crowd of the season. I have no doubt that Hillary is going to laugh quite a bit tonight, sometimes even at an appropriate moment. You know, last night I called Hillary a nasty woman. But this stuff is all relative. After listening to Hillary rattle on and on and on, I don't think so badly of Rosie O'Donnell anymore.
This is the Howie Carr Show.
You've probably heard about all the great benefits of goat milk soap, but did you know some companies take shortcuts? At Old New England Soap, we make our organic goat's milk soap using 36% goat's milk. That's 17% more than most others. Our bars are larger, so they last longer, producing lots of lather packed with vitamins. And our soap is a natural moisturizer that smooths dry and damaged skin. Order online at oldnesoap.com. That's oldnesoap.com. You've tried the rest. Now try the best. oldnesoap.com.
Water-based soaps on supermarket shelves use harsh chemical acids to break down dead skin cells. And that's just not good for you. At Old New England Soap, our soaps are made without chemical ingredients, contain no alcohol or petroleum products, and use 85% organic materials and carry the USDA's organic certification. Try some today. Go to oldnesoap.com. That's oldnesoap.com. oldnesoap.com.
If your home has hard water, then it's likely that limescale is clogging your pipes, damaging your appliances, costing you hundreds of dollars each year. You can eliminate limescale in the entire house with HydroCare products available at Wave Home Solutions. Easy and efficient with no maintenance, no salts, no chemicals, and no coils. And you can buy with confidence from Wave Home Solutions. Performance guaranteed. Just go to bestwater411.com. That's bestwater411.com.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
He's on your radio and on your smartphone. Download the Howie Carr app on the iTunes or Android app stores. This is the Howie Carr Show.
All right, it's that time of the week again. It's Monday afternoon, and I'm back. And you know what that means. It's time for Hate Mail Monday.
Let the hate flow through you.
That means Hate Mail Monday is powered by Piantadosi Baking Company, celebrating over 100 years of baking excellence since 1916. And at this time, every Monday, we do the hate mail that I've received at the message boards of the Herald, letters to the editor, Facebook postings for HowieCarrShow.com. Everything, all the hate mail. This week, last week, Grace, I wrote 5 columns because it was such a rush of news. So I assume there's a lot of hate mail here.
Yes. Actually, though, they mostly came in droves for one column specifically.
Which one was that?
You want to take a guess?
Was it the one about the shooting?
No.
No?
No, that one did get you a letter to the editor, which is a first for me on hate mail, reading one that the Boston Herald printed just because someone was so passionate about their hate for you.
Yes.
So we'll start with that one, but that's not the one that got the most hate. But here it is, the letter to the editor. And it was about Carr shifts blame, which is, like you said, that was the shooting article.
I shifted blame. You mean the guy who was a big Rachel Maddow fan and, a Bernie Sanders volunteer in the campaign?
Yes. Well,
who should have gotten the blame then other than him?
Well, not the liberals. So this is what this person says. Leave it to Howie Carr. One gun incident involving a crazy person, which could have liberal undertones, and Carr
if
goes
it was a
off.
right-winger that say that's why we have to take away 300 million guns from the citizens of the United States.
Never mind all the gun crimes that occur regularly, or the wave of hate crimes by right-wingers since Donald Trump was elected president.
Really?
Which
very fake news.
Exactly.
The Portland, Oregon murders of 2 men on a train.
You mean by a Bernie bro?
Apparently,
that was a Bernie bro, and he was using a knife, not a gun.
Not according to this hate mail person.
He was not only for Bernie, he was for Jill Stein.
Hey, does the Herald fact check these letters to the editor?
What is this? You know what? That's what's going on here. This is fake. This is fake letter to the editor.
Apparently by a man harassing 2 young Muslim women.
Yeah, and his tweets were all full of how much he loved Bernie Sanders and Jill Stein.
These are scurrilous attacks on your honor that the Herald is printing.
I can't believe it.
Well, I can. And what I can also believe is that last week, like you always do every single year, you always make a big deal about the longest day of the year.
Yes.
You quote Daisy Buchanan, blah, blah, blah. It's great. Now, someone does think that every day feels like the longest day of the year. And we have a nice little hate mail.
Howie, any day that your show is on is the longest day of the year. At least it seems like that. Like it goes on and on and on forever. And there's no end until Saturday and Sunday arrives.
How many times have I told Granny, turn off the radio, turn off the TV, and go home and pray for a happy death?
No, she refuses. She keeps coming back, and that's why we love her. But also, as I was saying, one of your articles got more hate than any other one. That would be the pothead article.
Oh.
People thought you were painting with such a broad brush, man.
I just said I was enjoying it, that the potheads were so stoned that they didn't realize they were going to get rolled, and that the legislature increased the taxes on their weed from 12% to 28%, and then, dude, how dare they, man?
Well, Justin says, go to a stop on the Howie book tour and watch the losers leave, clutching his worthless book after getting fleeced for $35 for the pleasure of listening to 45 minutes of Kennedy bashing. They had blank looks on their faces. Hey, Howie, don't bite the hand that feeds you. That might be the effects of marijuana. Bam. You've just been hated on.
Sorry, dudes.
And now, a bunch of random facts with Grace.
The male ostrich can roar just like a lion. Earth is the only planet that is not named after a god. Human thigh bones are stronger than concrete. Hamsters run up to 8 miles at night on a wheel. In New York, it is illegal to sell a haunted house without telling the buyer. Ooh. The word gorilla is derived from a Greek word meaning a tribe of hairy women. The tongue of a blue whale weighs more than most elephants. A jiffy is the scientific name for 1/100th of a second. Blue-eyed people tend to have the highest tolerance of alcohol. More than 50% of the people in the world have never made or received a phone call. Beetles taste like apples, wasps like pine nuts, and worms like fried bacon. There are no clocks in Las Vegas gambling casinos.
This has been a bunch of random facts with Grace. Check out Grace's latest posts, pictures, and blogs at HowieCarrshow.com.
I'm getting older and noticing that my body just doesn't work as well as it used to. So I like to keep fit as possible by hitting the gym a few times a week. Recently, I started having a nagging bicep pain and it got so bad I couldn't even lift the weights. When I was complaining about it to a friend, he told me about Angioprim. He said chelation helps remove toxins, heavy metals, and cholesterol in veins and arteries that may cause blockages. You know, after just 1 week of taking Angioprim, the pain was gone and now I'm back in the gym full strength. Scientific research proves the active ingredient in Angioprim has superior oral chelation action that helps promote cardiovascular health. So to learn more, go to angioprim.com. That's ANGIOPRIM.com or talk to a trained consultant. Call Angioprim toll free at 877-882-7221. You'll feel better with more energy. Call 877-882-7221 or go to the website angioprim.com.
The Howie Carr Show continues next.
Hi, this is Howie Carr, attorney at law. Are you a white male who voted for Donald Trump? Do you have a Make America Great sweatshirt or a hat? Have you had a beer since November the 8th? If you answered yes to one or more of the above questions, there's a good chance that you are soon going to be charged with committing a fake hate crime. Will you be ready, you uneducated redneck? When you get charged with committing a fake hate crime, will you be ready? You need reasonable doubt at a reasonable price. And that's where Howie Carr, attorney at law, Esquire, comes in. Call me at 1-800-FAKE-HRC. 1-800-FAKE-HRC. And we will get you some legal insurance for when it inevitably occurs and you're charged with a fake hate crime.
I'm getting older and noticing that my body just doesn't work as well as it used to. So I like to keep fit as possible by hitting the gym a few times a week. Recently, I started having a nagging bicep pain and it got so bad I couldn't even lift the weights. When I was complaining about it to a friend, he told me about Angioprim. He said chelation helps remove toxins, heavy metals, and cholesterol in veins and arteries that may cause blockages. You know, after just 1 week of taking Angioprim, the pain was gone and now I'm back in the gym full strength. Scientific research proves the active ingredient in Angioprim has superior oral chelation action that helps promote cardiovascular health. So to learn more, go to angioprim.com. That's ANGIOPRIM.com or talk to a trained consultant. Call Angioprim toll free at 877-882-7221. You'll feel better with more energy. Call 877-882-7221 or go to the website angioprim.com.
And now one of Howie's biggest fans.
Some of the hats were crocheted, you ignorant Republican. It's pronounced creme de la creme, you stupid Republican. He's 12 years older than me. I wish he'd learn how to speak English. He's 12 years older than I, because you would say he's 12 years older than I am. You wouldn't say he's 12 years older than me am. I wish you would learn English. Go to Mexico, learn English, then climb over this wall that's not going to be built and paid for. Bye. Have you tried the Donald Trump sandwich yet? It's bologna with Russian dressing, a tiny pickle on white. Do you really think everyone of voting age has a driver's license? That shows what an idiot you are. Do you think somebody 97 who wants to vote has a driver's license? You're an idiot. You're the biggest idiot.
PatriotPrepared.com carries the leading brands of storable food from Numanna, Legacy, and Heaven's Harvest. Patriot Prepared. Our name says it all. We're dedicated to empowering you to be self-reliant and confident in any circumstance. Whether you want to be prepared in the event of an emergency or you're an outdoor sports enthusiast, PatriotPrepared.com has prepackaged meals and kits for your entire family. Legacy, Heaven's Harvest, and Numanna are known for high-quality, great-tasting, GMO-free, nutritious food with no chemical preservatives. Simple to prepare, easy to store, gluten-free and organic high-quality nutrition options with a 25-year shelf life. You can't beat the feeling of being food secure when you need it most. So go to PatriotPrepared.com right now to pick up your supply of high-quality storable food for your family, because it makes good sense to be prepared. That's PatriotPrepared.com.
Hi, this is Howie Carr, attorney at law. Are you a white male who voted for Donald Trump? Do you have a Make America Great sweatshirt or a hat? Have you had a beer since November the 8th? If you answered yes to one or more of the above questions, there's a good chance that you are soon going to be charged with committing a fake hate crime. Will you be ready, you uneducated redneck? When you get charged with committing a fake hate crime, will you be ready? You need reasonable doubt at a reasonable price. And that's where Howie Carr, attorney at law, Esquire, comes in. Call me at 1-800-FAKE-HRC. 1-800-FAKE-HRC. And we will get you some legal insurance for when it inevitably occurs and you're charged with a fake hate crime.
Hi, this is Andrea from Ever So Humble Pie Company in East Walpole. Well, it's that time of year when comfort food is king. And now, in addition to our delectable dessert pies, we're offering home-style classics like chicken pot pie, shepherd's pie, and Canadian meat pie. Simply turn on your oven and you'll have a wholesome, hearty meal. Pick up a fruit pie while you're here, and you've got dinner and dessert from Ever So Humble Pie Company. For more information, call us at 508-660-9731 or visit us at eversohumble.com. That's eversohumble.com.
It's here, Howie Carr's latest book, Kennedy Babylon, A Century of Depravity and Scandal. Kennedy Babylon is a whirlwind tour of scandals from the days of the Kennedy clan's rabidly anti-Semitic patriarch to the death of JFK Jr. Ann Coulter says Howie Carr is making Kennedy books great again. You'll love the never-before-seen images of the Kennedy family in Howie Carr's latest book, Kennedy Babylon, A Century of Depravity and Scandal. Now shipping.
Better strap yourself in. It's time for the Howie Carr Show.
What would a daily infomercial for the Trump presidency look like? Well, actually, we don't have to wonder. We have the answer right in front of us. It's called Fox and Friends.
CNN very wrongly tied a Trump transition team member to Russia. There's a new rule at the network. You got to get permission from the bosses before putting out any story about Russia.
The restrictions come after CNN had to retract a story connecting Anthony Scaramucci, a prominent ally of President Trump, to a Russian investment fund managed by a Kremlin-controlled bank.
Very fake news.
Live from an undisclosed location.
Paul Ryan has been dreaming about cutting this program since he was hanging out at Keggers in college. He's told that story.
What kind of a man is he?
What kind of a monster is he? Who dreams of cutting Medicaid?
Unchained and unstoppable.
Why is the president going back on his promise?
These are not cuts to Medicaid, George. This slows the rate for the future, and it allows governors more flexibility with Medicaid dollars because they're closest to the people in need.
This 125 million people as of today will be as high as 140 million by 2020. And in 2020, they're going to be looking for somebody to give them medication and health care. And what this bill does is sends them all to death.
Who's your captain? Howie Carr.
How do you change the view that the Democrats are just simply limousine Democrats, that the party is in the hands of Wall Street?
Well, we got to stop riding in limousines.
Well, that's anything, right? But there's a presumption.
Rump swabs, hacks, and moonbats beware. It's Howie Carr.
We were just talking about those fake numbers from the CBO, the Congressional Budget Office, about the 22 million more people uninsured with the Senate plan. Guess what this chyron has been for the last 2 minutes on Channel 7. 22 million more uninsured. Just a total
very fake news.
Just total BS, but that's the way it goes. Anyway, joining us here for this segment is Bruce Mittman. He is a local media expert. He's the owner of Mitcom Advertising, and he's one of the principals of a radio company, Community Broadcasters, that owns 46 stations in 8 different markets. And Bruce, we were asking earlier in the day, have the overnights come out for Megyn Kelly? We like to follow that. Sure. Talk about a standing headline. Megyn Kelly's rating slipped to a new low every week, just like clockwork. And she did it again. Sunday night ratings with Sunday Night with Megyn Kelly slips again in week 4. She got less than half the viewers that a rerun of 60 Minutes got on CBS.
Yeah, as I've said last couple of weeks, I'm not surprised. I just don't see the format working on network TV, and on top of that, the ABC audience is not Megyn Kelly audience, and
NBC.
NBC, I meant, sorry, is not Megyn Kelly audience. So I'm not surprised.
And she in the fall, she's going to be on in the morning, and I saw a story last week saying that she's probably headed for more trouble there because she's kind of like an imperious rich white woman, and she's going up in a demo that time slot. There's more black women watching than white women believe. It's amazing. It's hard to believe, but it's true. Apparently,
the other problem is that she makes the stories about her and not about the person she's interviewing.
Again. That's what they called her at Fox. Right. Me again, Kelly.
Yeah. And so, again, that's just not the format for that vehicle. Yeah. And so she's going to go nowhere.
Kelly Ripa is going to eat Megyn Kelly for breakfast.
I think you're right. Yeah, I think you're right.
But there's no chance. She doesn't have a chance.
I don't think so either. And as network TV further fractionalizes on its ratings and cable news continues to eat up more of that news segment, I don't know where the audience is going to come from for Kelly.
Yeah, I ran into you at a party a couple of weeks ago, and I'd just seen something about J.C. Monahan, and it reminded me of NBC Boston and all that. And I said, but next time you come in, Bruce, give me some local TV news ratings. And then, but before I saw you again, the Herald had the front page splash about the total cratering of local newscast ratings. I mean, numbers, and you checked into it.
Yeah, well, we buy a lot of TV, and I pulled the May numbers for the DMA.
Sweeps.
Yeah, just remember though that May numbers tend to go down because viewing tends to weather gets better and HUT levels go down a little. So we'll give them a little bit of that as a discount. But saying that, I mean the 6 o'clock news, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Who do you think was number 1?
Channel 5.
Channel 7.
Channel 7, which has no
network
affiliation.
No network lead-in. They had a 5-6 share, but a 5-6 share, normally that's an 8 or 9 share. We're talking 5-6, a 1 rating. They're the only one in that day part with a 1 rating.
And so probably, even though they won, they probably have how many thousand viewers fewer than would they have than say like 10 years ago?
Oh, 10 years ago, they probably would have had a 9 to an 11 share. I mean, we're talking, well, first of all, cable is certainly adding fractionalization to that. You add the over-the-top media, you add digital streaming, you add streaming in general, and you've got so much fractionalization fractionalized viewing.
We're on TV right now. You understand
that's
that,
right? That's right.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
as a matter of fact, I was at your nice party that you had the other night. Thank you for having us. And one of your guests said, "Gee, I saw you on Howie Carr." Sorry, I'm supposed to wave to him right now.
I'm waving too.
Yes. So, you've got even your show on and getting some reasonable streaming numbers out of it. So everybody's competing for the video viewer.
That Herald story said they looked at NECA, New England Cable News. They said at noon for the month, they averaged 2,554, 1,200 people. I'm kind of surprised it was even 1,200 people watching.
They have 0.1s, 0.2s. I mean, these are completely irrelevant numbers. Saying
how do they get ads? I mean, would you buy a spot on?
You know what? I do buy a Neckin because you can negotiate great rates, and if you think about it, it's a New England buy. It's not a Boston buy. So I'm not completely focused on the Boston market, and if a client like Subaru New England, for example.
So what Neckin could say is, well, maybe in the Boston market we only have 1,200 people watching at noon, but if you look for the whole region, we maybe have 2,500.
Well, they probably have more than that. But saying that, I'm only going to pay for 2,500. I'm not going to pay for 25,000. So it's our advantage. But they get a lot of added bonus weight that that doesn't, unfortunately for them, count, which is bars, restaurants where they do show up.
Bars? No, I've never been in a bar where they were showing New England Cable News is on.
Go to the bar. There's a bar around the corner from here that has them on all the time. Plus, restaurant I eat in every day for lunch.
So, really? I mean, I know New England, Nesson would have them because they'd have the Red Sox.
No, they have them on during the day. Neckin for the news. They don't have them on at night, but they certainly have them on during the day. So they get bonus viewing. I mean, is it a lot? No. But
so what happened? What's the long-term trend for these newscasts? I mean, I'd say they're in big trouble.
I think they're in very big trouble. I think what you're seeing them do is make themselves ubiquitous so that they're on your cell phone, they're on your laptop.
They're always going. Get our app.
Exactly. So that you get as much access. So unfortunately, the TV station is going to end up being the brand. And then the distribution points of that brand are going to be multiple distribution points, and then collectively they're going to come together for the ratings.
So why is Channel 7 winning though? I mean, because they got nothing but reruns on. Yeah, but it's crap. And no offense to my friends at Channel 7.
No offense, but it's crap.
It is crap.
Well, here's the interesting thing. They're 4 o'clock news. They have 4 o'clock news, 5 o'clock news, right, and 6 o'clock news. They're basically news all the time, other than reruns, right?
Other than Family Feud.
But TV today is not viewed in the same way. You don't go home, sit down in front of the TV all night, and decide which network show are you going to watch, because it just your TV set is not a TV set. It's a receiver of data, and that data is video from all different places, and you can watch whatever you want. So you're really not sitting there anymore and saying, at 7 o'clock I'm gonna go watch the news and all. So local TV is in for a rough road, I think, going forward.
Channel 7 always says, we can still make a lot of money because we've got all these newscasts, and
he's right.
But still, it's still expensive. You have all these crews out there. You have to pay. You have to pay for the trucks and the transmission and all the people back that are cutting the packages and everything. I mean, it's still pretty expensive.
But some of his reruns, he's getting 0.8s, 0.9s. I mean, I'm not here to advertise for HDH, but I think that they've managed to maintain a good portion of their audience.
Has NBC Boston, have they broken into the ratings anywhere?
Well, they're certainly challenged here. I mean, they.
In other words, no.
Yeah. Well, they're certainly not. Let's look at the 10 o'clock. Well, 10 o'clock's not their news, but let's look at 11 o'clock. All right, which is important to them, and they're in the 4th position. They're ahead of HDH on that. This again is only the May book. This is not the average of.
But it's a sweep.
This is what
they buy advertising.
This is what FXT was number 1 in that time slot. Then CVB, then FXT, then CVB, then BZ, according to the May numbers. So we're looking at 1 month, which is a snapshot, but still, it's it usually May is an important sweep period for them.
So Channel 5 is pretty. I mean, they used to be like the.
Channel 5 is number 2. They were tied with a 0.8 rating. So,
but Channel 5 used to be like the primo newscast. Yes. They're not anymore, are they?
No, and
they're just run of the mill. They're all kind of in like a dog race.
Well, CVB, FXT, BZ. They're sort of in the same
the
pack, and then trying to come up there as BTS, and HDH is still there. So, you know what? Another news station means a lot more fractionalization. And as an advertising agency, I like that because it gives me a lot more room to negotiate because I got more options and everybody's, looking for dollars.
Do your clients ever say, Bruce, I'm spending all this money on local TV and nobody ever says they see it?
Well, I don't hear that, but I do hear questions about, is network TV on the way out? And which is an interesting question. It's not on the way out and it won't be on the way out for a while. But it certainly is being impacted by
I think why they're asking that question, Bruce, is because they're not watching it, and they don't know anybody who's watching it.
Well,
so then you begin to think, why am I wasting my money here?
But I'm hearing the same thing about radio. People say to me all the time, well, everybody listens to Sirius satellite. And I go, well, no, 8% of humanity listens to Sirius, and 92% listen to radio. But for some reason, it's not as sexy. So radio doesn't get the credibility it deserves, quite frankly.
Okay, we'll let you stick around and talk about the Trump people when we come back, and we'll do one more segment with you. I'm Howie Carr.
Thank you.
Hang on, the Howie Carr Show returns next.
We here at Matthews Brothers are still learning about this whole social media thing. After all, we're 163 years old and just barely got used to videotapes. One thing we've learned is, while being followed walking down the street is not necessarily a good thing, being followed on Facebook is. At least we think it must be, since the two top Facebook pages are Facebook and Facebook for Phones. Anyway, for no particular reason, we decided this year we're going to increase the number of people who follow us on Facebook. And not just anybody. No, sir. We want people just like you. Now, you might be saying, Matthews Brothers, why me? I'm not a builder, remodeler, architect, or typical homeowner considering purchasing windows in the next 6 months to 1 year. Why should I follow you? Good question. Because by following us, you just may win one of 10 fishing trips aboard the fishing vessel Hard Merchandise with Captain Dave Marciano. That's why. Boom! You can learn all the details, but only at Better Lumberyards and Window Professionals or on the web at MatthewsBrothers.com. Matthews Brothers with 1 T, America's oldest window manufacturer.
Are you looking for a pre-owned car? Well, before you go to the dealership where you'll be pounced on by pushy salespeople, give the Car Guys a try. I'm Bill Papa George, and my job is to make finding the perfect used car as easy as possible. That means I do all of the tough legwork for you. Once I figure out what you want out of a car, I go find it. I've been in this business for a long time, and I know what to look out for. I won't bring you a car unless I know it will meet or exceed your expectations. So give me a call at 800-300-4600. That is 800-300-4600.
We've all seen what happens when a crab fishing boat's hydraulic system fails on the Bering Sea. Well, you don't have to be dead in the water. Bring your broken hydraulic hose assembly to the Parker store and their certified specialists will replace it while you wait. From land to sea, small to large, the Parker store will get your hydraulic hose assembly back up and running. Parker store locations are throughout New England, including their new location in North Haven, Connecticut. Visit theparkerstore.com, theparkerstore.com.
We could play another commercial, or we could play 60 seconds of Donald Trump. Yeah, let's do that.
And I don't want this evening without saying something nice about my opponent. Hillary's been in Washington a long time. She knows a lot about how government works. And according to her sworn testimony, Hillary has forgotten more things than most of us will ever know. That I can tell you. Now, if some of you haven't noticed, Hillary isn't laughing as much as the rest of us. That's because she knows the jokes. And all of the jokes were given to her in advance of the dinner by Donna Brazile. Here she is tonight, in public, pretending not to hate Catholics.
This is the Howie Carr Show.
Hey there, quick question for you. Would you be okay with more energy,
more endurance, thicker, healthier hair, a better mood, reduced appearance of wrinkles, improved sleep, improved blood pressure and cholesterol profiles, improved vision, improved memory? Okay then. Well now, have you heard of Nature's Youth RSF? It's from the anti-aging experts at nature'syouth.com. nature'syouth.com. See, at Nature's Youth, they understand exactly what it means to provide top-quality health products. And Nature's Youth customers not only improve their health, they know they're also providing their body with the right nourishment to maintain that peak performance and fight the aging process. If health, wellness, and nutrition are what you desire, choose Nature's Youth RSF. I did. You see, you're going to get older. It's just up to you how you feel when you get there. Get started today. Nature's Youth RSF. Simple to use, simple to order. Go to nature'syouth.com. That's nature'syouth.com. nature'syouth.com.
Would odors, mold, and mildew describe your basement or crawl space? It doesn't have to be that way. Transform them into a fresh, healthy, usable one with the technologically advanced Wave moisture control units. The computerized operation maximizes moisture control and also expels harmful radon, combustion gases, and numerous other pollutants. Dehumidifiers are old technology that do nothing for air quality and waste energy. Wave units are intelligent, self-monitoring, do not need maintenance, and will save you hundreds in electricity. Wave units are still running effectively over 15 years. They've been tested and installed in public and military housing and by property managers nationwide. Buy a unit now, and if your home is not fresher and drier, you can return it for a full refund for up to 12 months. What have you got to lose? Call now. 1-888-618-WAVE. 1-888-618-WAVE. Or visit mydryhome.com. That's mydryhome.com.
Wave Home Solutions for a healthy, comfortable home.
He might not know how to copy and paste, but he's figured out how to tweet. Follow Howie on Twitter at Howie Carr Show. Now, back to Howie Carr.
This hour of the Howie Carr Show is brought to you today in part by Moricello Blackberry Cello Liqueur. Stop by any New Hampshire State liquor store for a bottle and visit blackcovebeverages.com for refreshing summertime drink recipes. Moricello Blackberry Cello Liqueur. Today's poll question is brought to you by Casper. Get a Casper mattress and sleep cool and comfortable every night. It's a higher quality mattress at a more affordable price. Test it yourself for 100 nights risk-free. Use code Howie at Casper.com for $50 towards the purchase of your mattress. Terms and conditions apply. Steve, what's the poll question? What are the results thus far?
Do you care whether the White House allows a live video feed at press briefings?
No, I don't.
Yeah, 91% say no.
Yeah, I agree with that as well. It's silly.
All right. Jim Acosta, who was tweeting out fake tweets 10 days ago after the Scalise shooting, he was complaining today. And finally, Sean Spicer just said, chill out, pal.
Right. I think it was very smart of them to take away the live feeds. You can still have a briefing, but to take away the live feeds. Now, everybody can't showboat.
Right. They had when Clinton became president, they did the same thing, and Stephanopoulos he had ratings through the roof too, and but again the conservatives were using it to smash Clinton every day, and they pulled the plug, I think, even before the Trump people did.
Yeah,
same thing.
It makes sense.
But yeah, why would you do that?
Why would you give your competition fodder to kill
your
you
foes? With. They're the enemy. It's like Trump said. I mean, he wasn't talking about everybody, but certainly CNN and MSNBC are his enemies.
Right?
Why would he give them? Why would he give them this kind of?
It's stupid, quite frankly. And glad they did. They made that change.
Yeah. So we don't have a lot of time this segment, Bruce, but he's doing better today. I mean, he again, they go after him. He had the meeting with the Indian Prime Minister, and he didn't take questions. They said that was the end of the republic too, even though Obama did the same thing a couple of years ago, and nobody even noticed that he didn't take questions.
Well, it's because Obama's an intellect, and
he was a professor of constitutional law, also known as an adjunct professor. That means he gets paid piecework. He gets paid $1,000 for a course or $2,000. Yeah.
No, but no, I think he's done fine for 2 days. But we'll wait. I'm always sitting at the edge of my seat waiting for him to tweet something ridiculous, and and give the competition some reason to come back at him.
But there have been polls come out the last week or so, saying that the people who voted for him and who still support him, like 95, 98%, they like the tweets. I like the tweets.
I like the tweets, except when it's an important subject. When you have a major bill, you don't tweet. You go out to the American public. You make a speech and you walk through why you're supporting a certain bill and why the other bill needs to be changed.
I mean, he does do some stupid things, like he said the House bill, which he had the big conference at the Rose Garden. Yay, we passed the House bill. Now he says vote for the Senate bill because the House bill is mean. I mean, he's undercutting himself. But the thing is, nobody's going to tell him what to do. I mean, I think we've all come to that conclusion. I mean, there is nobody whose word. I mean, maybe when he was alive, Roy Cohn, or maybe his father, Fred Trump.
Maybe his father. Yes.
Yeah, right, but I mean, I don't think there's anybody alive whose advice he will take.
I agree. I'm just merely commenting on it. I mean, I know that he's not going to listen to Bruce Mittman or to Howie Carr because he's going to do whatever he wants.
Yeah.
Saying that, I wish he would, resist some of the tweets because I don't think it helps him. On
the other hand, like they're going after Fox and Friends, which I like the show.
Right.
I enjoy it. But when I'm listening to it on the radio, I give it on the radio.
Sure, me too.
I don't watch it on TV. I have it on the radio, and I'm listening to it. And they say some new tweets out from Donald Trump, and I always go, I always think to myself, great, good, I can't wait to hear what he said this morning.
Yeah,
I like it. I enjoy it,
and many times I do as well. And I think that he's got to learn to use it more judiciously. That's all. And there are certain topics that need explanation. Communication is just that. You need to communicate. You can't just speak in half sentences and hope that everybody gets it.
He's fine tuning it. I mean, turning off the cameras for most days. That's an indication
that
they're looking and seeing there's no upside to letting these jerks from CNN come in and just prance around for the camera. So they cut it off. So maybe he'll figure it out.
I hope so. He certainly has had a good week. I'm just, like I said.
And Kellyanne Conway is not taking any grief at all. She just goes out there and just like deals with it. You will play it after the cut.
But she's an amazingly articulate woman. I mean, she's just incredible. I love her.
And she never loses her cool either. They just keep throwing beanballs at her head, and she just stays in there and gets ready for the next pitch.
Well, nice seeing you as always, Howie.
Thank you, Bruce.
Steve, always good. I'll see you next week, Stephen, right?
Thank you for bringing in the ratings as I asked you to.
My pleasure. Always a pleasure.
Thank you. I'm Howie Carr.
And now one of Howie's biggest fans.
Approval rating, Obama, 79. Trump, 32. Think about it. You can't please everyone, so you've got to please yourself.
You can't please everyone, so you've
got to please yourself. Get over it, Howie. At least Obama can spell potato, you fucking asshole. Stupid Republican. Don't pee on me and tell me it's raining. Did I hear right? The information was leaked? Get it? He's going to drop the bomb, and then you might go, yeah, maybe he wasn't the best choice. Yeah, maybe we should have voted for Hillary. Yeah. You can't please everyone, so you've got to please yourself. Don't pee on me and tell me it's raining.
Many legislators claim to be for lower taxes and government transparency, but are they really? Massachusetts Fiscal Alliance keeps you informed by posting the voting records of our elected officials. You can log on to our website at massfiscal.org. Click Scorecard to see how your legislator is voting on Beacon Hill. And while you're there, make a donation. And be sure to join our email list so you can stay up to date with the latest information on what's happening at the State House with Massachusetts Fiscal Alliance.
Paid for by the Mass Fiscal Alliance, Rick Green, Chairman.
Hi, I'm Howie Carr, and I'm here with Rick Green of the Mass Fiscal Alliance. Wow, Mass Fiscal is really driving the moonbats crazy.
Who knew putting voting records online would be so controversial? Many legislators claim to be for lower taxes and government transparency, but they sure don't vote that way.
Your group is just what this state needs. How can the listeners help you guys?
Just have them visit our website at www.massfiscal.org. They can join our email list and donate if they like. And of course, make sure they check out our scorecard to see how their legislators voted.
Paid for by the Mass Fiscal Alliance. Rick Green, Chairman.
Hi, this is Howie Carr, attorney at law. Are you a white male who voted for Donald Trump? Do you have a Make America Great sweatshirt or a hat? Have you had a beer since November the 8th? If you answered yes to one or more of the above questions, there's a good chance that you are soon going to be charged with committing a fake hate crime. Will you be ready, you uneducated redneck? When you get charged with committing a fake hate crime, will you be ready? You need reasonable doubt at a reasonable price. And that's where Howie Carr, attorney at law, Esquire, comes in. Call me at 1-800-FAKE-HRC. 1-800-FAKE-HRC. And we will get you some legal insurance for when it inevitably occurs and you're charged with a fake hate crime.
We could play another commercial, or we could play 60 seconds of Donald Trump. Yeah, let's do that.
You know, they say when you do this kind of an event, you always start out with a self-deprecating joke. Some people think this would be tough for me, but the truth is... The truth is I'm actually a modest person, very modest. It's true. In fact, many people tell me that modesty is perhaps my best quality. I'd like to address an important religious matter, the issue of going to confession, or as Hillary calls it, the 4th of July weekend with FBI Director Comey.
This is the Howie Carr Show. Want to spend a day in studio with Howie Carr? Get to HowieCarrShow.com and click store to get tickets to Howie's in-studio VIP experience. Now, back to Howie Carr.
This hour of the Howie Carr Show is brought to you in part by Newton Wellesley Hospital. Call Newton Wellesley Hospital Center for Weight Loss Surgery at 617-243-3724 or go to nwh.org/weight loss. 774 says the only thing that will make WCVB great again is more walking around by reporters in the live remote shoots. Every 3 or 4 years, they get a new program, news director into one of these stations after they bottom out in the ratings, and sometimes they say everybody's got to start walking in the live shots. And then a couple of years later, some other station, they bottom out, and the new news director comes in and says, everybody's got to stop walking. I'm getting confused.
Well, what's your position on walking in live shots?
I'm in favor of walking in live shots. Anything to keep it moving. What I used to do was chase people down. That's what I would run through the halls after them. That would be on tape. But
run.
You can't. Well, I would just. The thing about the State House, it was better at the State House than City Hall, because at the State House you got the you got the marble floors and you got the high ceilings. So you got the sound, the echoing sound that you never got at City Hall or at the federal courthouse, either of the federal courthouses. So I preferred. I'd like to do my chasing through the corridors of the State House. Representative, the only thing you got to do is you always got to have a question ready. You got to have like a list of questions. So I would always rehearse that. Sometimes I would even like write them on my hand or something to make sure I had enough. Anyway, let me just read you some headlines here just before we move on. Mexico urges soccer fans to stop homophobic chants. I I thought the Mexican, the undocumented Democrats, they were all voting for Democrats who support transgender bathrooms and all this stuff. And apparently there have been 8 times the Mexican soccer team has been penalized for homophobic chants by its fans.
Have you looked into this? Because it's actually an interesting etymology of what they're chanting. I don't know if we can. I don't know if we can get away with talking about it, but there's actually an interesting story behind the word that they're talking about.
No, I saw the word. I know what the word means. I don't think we can talk about it. I don't think we can. The National Endowment for the Arts is spending $20,000 for a music about a lesbian illegal alien who is in love with an ICE agent. Oh, isn't that special? The San Francisco Mime Troupe, a self-described socialist theater group, received the funding in the first round of grants awarded under the Trump administration. Johnson City, New York. The Broome County District Attorney and local police agencies have announced details of a major weapons bust. Ramadan Abdullah. Did I go to high school with him? Ramadan Abdullah is facing multiple felony weapons charges, and numerous weapons have been seized as a result. He was arrested for the guy named Ramadan Abdullah was arrested for shoplifting. May 31st, though, his EBT card was expired, I guess.
There's an exemption for that.
Was arrested for shoplifting ammo from Gardner Mountain. I guess that's a local gun store by Johnson City Police. Police say none of the weapons were registered or licensed to Abdullah, making them illegal. I can't believe that. Remember this lawyer we told you about, the aptly named Eric Kahn? This is the SSDI lawyer who he set up. They say his cons with this SSDI administrative law judge. They rubber stamped all these people that weren't entitled to disability pensions. This was down in Appalachia in the coal country. $600 million that they ripped off, basically, one way or another. They convicted him of multiple felony counts, and they released him on bond. And can you guess what happened? He's gone. He's gone. He says he has no money. He sent something to the Lexington Herald Leader, an email. And he says he used his credit card to buy a ticket to fly out of JFK in New York. But he says he never intended to go there because he figured the FBI had it staked out. So instead, he used a different prepaid credit card to buy a second ticket and used that one to screw. He said his leaving required preparation. I wonder if he learned anything from reading The Brothers Bulger. We laid it out pretty good what Whitey did. And a key factor was not to ask anyone left behind for help so they would not get in trouble. That's Whitey. That's one of the things Whitey did. And Whitey also fooled him into thinking he had left through JFK, and he never did. This is a quote from him to the email to the Lexington newspaper. I had to ask for help from an individual or individuals who are effectively immune from the government's persecution. That not prosecution, persecution, PER. Like, in other words, he stole $600 million from us, and he was being persecuted. I'll bet he's a Democrat. I'm going to guess. Fortunately, I had previously made alliances with such individual or individuals. He speaks multiple languages, has crossed the border 140 times in the past decade, and told at least 6 people he'd flee the country instead of going to jail. Why did they let him go after he was convicted? Thank you, FBI. Thank you, FBI. Oh, this is good news. This is some more good news here. Two good news stories from academia. The University of Delaware has sacked Catherine Detweiler, the taxpayer-funded professor who declared that Otto Warmbier was a spoiled, white, rich, clueless American college student who got exactly what he deserved. She was an expert on breastfeeding, and she's an adjunct faculty member. Again, that means she's not a faculty member. That means she's just a contract. She just teaches courses when she's needed. And she said that, is it wrong for me to think that Otto Warmbier got exactly what he deserved? Yes, it is. She says these same kids bluster and threaten their female professors, and she also wrote that young, white, rich, clueless white males routinely get away with raping women in the United States. You mean like the guys at the fraternity at the UVA who didn't really rape anybody, or the Duke University lacrosse team, those white guys who didn't really rape anybody? Meanwhile, and another adjunct professor was fired too. This is the Lisa Durden, the one who was interviewed by Tucker Carlson, and she said when they were talking about people couldn't go to some Black Lives Matter rally that was only for black people on Memorial Day. You white people, she said, are angry because you couldn't use your white privilege card to get invited to the Black Lives Matter All Black Memorial Day celebration. You people, that's what she said. Now she's been fired by her college, which is Essex County College, which is mainly black and Hispanic, by the way. And she said she's been lynched. I was publicly lynched. Her contract was not renewed, and she says that means she was publicly lynched. And she says, oh, by the way, I will apologize if a person assumed I meant all white people. I never meant all white people. Again, let me go back to what she said. You white people are angry because you couldn't use your white privilege card. But she didn't mean all white people when she said that. Just want to be clear on that. That's what she says. Okay. Now, you got some. Is this the Tucker Carlson audio, or is this the new audio? Is this the one where she says she's being lynched? She was lynched. She was lynched. She's walking her. If she was lynched, she's still walking around. But if she was lynched, she shouldn't be able to speak about it. Go ahead.
What I say to that is boo-hoo-hoo.
Oh, here, this is Tucker.
You white people are angry because you couldn't use your white privilege card to get invited to the Black Lives Matters All Black Memorial Day celebration. Wow. Let me contextualize that for you. Memorial Day was created
I don't want you to contextualize.
Right? I need to contextualize it because Memorial Day was created by black former slaves in 1865.
She got exactly what was coming to her. But again, she and this other woman, Detweiler. I mean, these are part-time jobs. This is like being laid off from Target because they want to keep you under 29 hours a week because of Obamacare. I mean, this is the kind of job they got. It's not a real tenured job. You can't make a living off being an adjunct professor. Believe me, I know about that. All right, we're going to come back and then we're going to talk about the tea here in a moment. 844-500-4242. Headline in the paper today, MBTA wants to take an axe to retirement benefits. About time. About time. I'm Howie Carr.
Don't move. Howie Carr is back next.
Are you in the market for a new or pre-owned RV? Do you need parts or accessories for your camper? Maybe you just need somewhere to take it for repairs. This is Howie Carr, and Cold Springs RV is ready for you. They have a knowledgeable and friendly staff, they have a great selection, and a no-pressure atmosphere. At Cold Springs RV, you will find hundreds of new and pre-owned RVs on their lot where you can freely browse. Located on Route 114 in Ware, New Hampshire, or check out the inventory online at coldspringsrv.com.
Grace here with a question for you. Have you done anything exciting lately? No? Well, it's time to change that. With a scenic helicopter tour around New Hampshire's seacoast, experience the exhilaration of flying in a helicopter while seeing some of New England's greatest attractions, including lighthouses, beaches, marinas, farmland, and lakes. Seacoast Helicopters has a fleet of brand new, state-of-the-art helicopters and is ready to take you and your family into the clear blue skies. Do something exciting, something you'll talk about all year. A helicopter tour with Seacoast Helicopters, the official helicopter tour company of The Howie Carr Show. Find out more and book a tour at flywithhowie.com. That's flywithhowie.com. flywithhowie.com.
Warm summer nights are here. Why slave over the hot stove when you can dine at the local restaurant with locations in Wayland, Wellesley, Newton, and now Woburn? Do what Howie does and sit at the bar, watch a game, and enjoy the locals' famous 24-hour marinated steak tips. Or Howie's favorite, the Jumbo Lump Crab Cakes. The local has a great beer and wine list with all your summer favorites. So stay out of the heat, stay local, and eat at the local restaurant in Wayland, Wellesley, and Newton, and now in Woburn. Online at liveitlocal.com and available for delivery via Grubhub 2, the local restaurant.
Are you a veteran? Or maybe you consider yourself a dysfunctional veteran. Good news, there's a store just for you. It's called the Dysfunctional Veteran Store, with t-shirts and sweatshirts that get the message across loud and clear, like this black t-shirt that says boldly across the front, Dysfunctional Veteran, leave me alone. And then there's the t-shirt that takes a major dig at the VA. It says, the VA, giving veterans a second chance to die for their country since 1930. How'd you like to wear that around? Are you a dysfunctional veteran? Shop the Dysfunctional Veteran Store at mydvstore.com. That's mydvstore.com. We could play another commercial, or we could just play 60 seconds of Donald Trump. Yeah, let's do that.
I say, hey, wait a minute. He didn't leave the country. He wasn't out of the country. Then Michael Cohen of the Trump Organization was in Prague. It turned out to be a different Michael Cohen. Sure. It's a disgrace what took place. It's a disgrace. And I think they ought to apologize to start with Michael Cohen.
Sir, since you're attacking us, can you give us a question? Mr. President-elect. Mr. President-elect, since you are attacking our news organization, can you give us a chance?
Your organization.
You are attacking our news organization. Can you give us a chance to ask a question, sir?
Go ahead.
Sir, can you state, Mr. President-elect, can you state categorically, Mr. President-elect, can you give us a question? You're attacking us. Can you give us a question?
Don't be rude.
Can you give us a question?
I'm not going to give you a question.
Can you state categorically?
You are fake news.
Sir,
go ahead.
Can you state categorically that nobody... No, Mr. President-elect, that's not appropriate.
This is the Howie Carr Show.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I'm telling you right now, it's awesome. I was trying to get my blood pressure regulated, okay? And after 3 days of taking this thing, my blood pressure went back down to normal. I am ecstatic. I am so happy with this stuff. It is my savior.
This was the first summer that I have not had to have a steroid shot to help me to breathe.
The reason why I'm taking it because I've got Hep C. Once I began taking your stuff, it took a few months, but believe it or not, my liver enzymes are way down and it's normal now. It works.
The new challenge will allow you to receive 2 months of Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies free. And we'll even ship them to you free. Call now for details. Call 1-800-246-8751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code TALK.
It's the most effective product that I've ever bought in my life, but I should have ordered it like 15 years ago.
Hi, folks. In a world of GMO, genetically modified organisms, that is, chemicals, processed foods, and a healthcare system that's unraveling like a cheap suit, it's time to prepare. God created herbs, and herbs help man. Our body can heal itself, just sometimes we need assistance. You need some help? GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com. Our mild detox is quite powerful with its unique blend of 8 different herbs. And if you're looking for more, our non-GMO supplements will help you with different needs you might have. Health should be a top priority. Take care of your health naturally. Log on to GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com. Give your body a treat. Let the herbs do their thing naturally. Read all the testimonies on the website, GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com. Sickness and viruses are like intruders, and herbs are like warriors. Let the tea work for you. That's GetTheTea.com.
Read the uncut edition of Howie's latest Boston Herald column at HowieCarrShow.com. This is the Howie Carr Show.
844-500-4242. I don't think we're going to have time to get into the MBTA stuff. There'll be more on it tomorrow. We got a lot of stuff on the MBTA pension disaster, and it's just beyond. that's not beyond belief, but it's astonishing how badly that thing has been managed and how much money they've given away. And all the Bulgers. One of the Bulgers, Patrick Bulger, went out at age 43, makes $55,000 a year pension. At age 43, he went out with a full pension because he put in his 23 years. His cousin, Mark Bulger, went out at age 45, has a pension of $34,000. Their Mark's brother-in-law, married to Beth Ann Zoda, who worked in the Senate President's office. He had to wait. He's being an in-law. He had to wait till he was like 52, 53 years old to retire with a full pay. James Rooney, who is now the head of the Greater Boston Chamber of Commerce and was the head of the T, I believe, and then he was the head of the Convention Center Authority. He retired at age 41 in 1999 with a pension of $62,000. $62,000 at age 41. This is just the way it is. I mean, they've changed it now, but most of the people that work for the T, or a huge percentage of them, can still retire after 23 years. We need more than like one segment to get into it and lay it all out. And the pension fund has been looted. They gave money to Ponzi schemes, and
hey, the Ponzi schemes get good returns, Howie.
Yeah, they do. Until you try to call them and the number's been disconnected.
I got some breaking news from New Orleans, by the way, Howie. They have apprehended one of the suspects.
Yeah, I've got his picture here
in the attack.
His Dewan, D-E capital J-U-A-N, has Dewan Paul's mother been reached for comment?
He's a good boy, a very good boy.
Yes, these are the guys who assaulted the two Bostonians who were down for a Unitarian Universalist convention. So, in other words, these are not people from South Boston. Let's put it that way. These are people who voted for Hillary Clinton. They probably voted for Jill Stein, and this is their reward. One of them's in critical condition. They were mugged in the French Quarter, a block from Canal Street, the main drag. Dewan Paul, and they know who the other three are. We'll have their names by the end of by tomorrow's show.
Should we be welcoming these two Unitarian Universalists to the conservative movement now?
Yeah, you know what? That's the old saying. You know, a conservative is a liberal who's been mugged. I mean, these people. This one guy was a little more than mugged. I mean, he was critically injured. Two of them came up behind him and sucker punched him, and knocked these two Unitarian Universalists to the curb, to the sidewalk, and then two thugs came up behind them and grabbed their wallets and their cell phones. Welcome to the Big Easy. Now, here's the most shocking news of the day. I've saved the most shocking news of the day for last. You know the fake news story that CNN ran about Trump's aide who supposedly had this secret meeting with a Russian, and it was under investigation by the FBI and the feds. It turned out what happened was he'd met this guy somewhere, this Russian, and they're in a big restaurant in New York, and the Russian comes by and sees this guy Scaramucci, Mooch they call him, and he sees Mooch across the room, and he waves at him, and Mooch waves back, and that's the extent of it. And CNN made it out like they finally found a smoking gun that was going to lead to Trump's impeachment. This was on Thursday night, and apparently the story was sold to them by everybody else in Washington had been offered this story, and it was such a piece of excrement that nobody would touch it with a 10-foot pole. But CNN went with it because they knew nothing would happen. Because how many fake stories does CNN run? An endless number.
I think these guys have a wrongful termination case. Isn't it in the job description that you will be required to put out fake news?
I thought they had a fake news desk at CNN.
A quota, too.
Right. I mean, Acosta could always make the quota. But shockingly, these three guys have been fired. Oh, excuse me, they've resigned. CNN said Monday the three journalists, including the executive editor in charge of a new investigative unit at CNN. Pardon me for laughing in your faces, Jeff. Have resigned after the publication of a Russia-related fake news article that was retracted. Thomas Frank, who wrote the story in question, Eric Lichtblau, an editor in the unit, and Lex Harris, no relation to Lex Luthor, who oversaw the unit, have all left CNN. Let's see here. Frank worked for USA Today and Newsday for 3 decades, pursuing investigations and covering the Iraq War as an embedded reporter. He was part of an ambitious new investigative unit that was created last winter. Lichtblau is a veteran of the New York Times who won I knew that name. He won a Pulitzer Prize for national reporting in 2006. Do you think he knows Jason Blair? Do you think he knows Mike Barnicle? Probably knows Mike Barnicle. He just joined CNN 3 months ago. And Lex Luthor Harris, he was the executive editor of CNN Investigates. He was previously the executive editor of CNN Money. Excuse me. He said in a statement, "This is a news organization that prizes accuracy and fairness above all else." Oh, sure. That's why they ran the Golden Showers dodgy dossier, because they prize fairness and accuracy over everyone else. I am leaving, but I will carry those principles wherever I go. Jim Acosta wished him the best and said Donald Trump was not able to get into his hospital room today. Aw, isn't it sad? These extinguished journalists. You're fired. I'm Howie Carr.
And now, a bunch of random facts with Grace.
Donald Duck comics were banned from Finland because he doesn't wear pants. Pirates wore earrings because